Check. Whoa. Whoa. Hello everyone, it is I, Skibbity Raymond, here with another Project Feline Devstream. I hope you guys are doing well, thanks for all coming. I'm just getting Blender open. Oh, we got some chatters. Oh, thanks Gideon, it's very nice of you. No, Gabi has no sister, shut up. It's not real. That was not real. Alright, speaking of Gabi, let's show you how she's been going. Now, I haven't had much time this week to work on the rig, but the face rig is done in terms of like the weight painting part. There's some improvements I would like to make, but it works. Like functionally, it works pretty good. So the lighting is still a bit glitched out, but in terms of just the rig, like how things move about, it's doing pretty all right. It's the way I want it. Now, I've been sort of dividing my time up between doing this and researching Premiere Pro workflow hacks, because I think I mentioned in my last stream that I've been doing a bit of a cleanup of my devlog project files, because they need a bit of cleaning up. They need some reorganizing, and I'm trying to figure out ways to make content faster. So I've spent the last 3 straight days reading all of this stuff about naming conventions and workflow hacks and everything with my editing tools, so that I can make more content for you. So that's why I've been a bit slow on the rig, but in the time I've had to work on it, this is how it's been going. And I'll show you some cool things that I did since last time. I think I was working on the mouth, and that is now done. So I've just got like a test pose here at the moment with got all the controllers on. I got different layers of controllers as well. So I've got these this layer, which is just like the basic eyes, nose, teeth, and jaw. And it looks like, oh, it's because I've moved this forward a bit, I think. Okay, I must have moved the mouth forward. There we go. So yeah, because the thing I can do with some of these poses is that I can move everything around pretty freely. So if I want, because with the default, because this was all like assisted with using the Rigify plugin, and by default with Rigify you can't move the jaw like this, you can only rotate it. So in some of the poses I've done, because it's anime, it's got to be exaggerated, I've like made I've like brought the jaw down to like, you know, have the face be a certain shape, which you normally, like in a real face, wouldn't do. Like you would only rotate it, but I can move mine around and scale it. I think I can scale it too, yes. I can, so I can do that, which I will not do. Oh, there was some, I haven't really been playing around too much with the expressions like that I've saved. I've only saved this one. I've got another layer of controllers as well, which is more like tweak bones. So being able to like puff the cheeks around. I added whiskers, I totally forgot, but just this morning I added whiskers, which are weight painted as well. So those can all move around and everything. Because that was sort of missing from the old design. I was thinking I'll do that at the end, and so I've gone and added them. There are even, weirdly enough, here's a funny fact as well. I don't know if the wireframe is visible, but these are actually lower poly than the old model's whiskers. But the old model's whiskers look blockier, because what I've done with these whiskers is instead of making them cubes, I've made them trapezoids? Is that the word? I don't know, triangular. So instead of having like a face on the top, side, bottom, it's just a extruded triangle instead, which is a whole row of faces it doesn't need now. And that's like less polygons. So yeah, would you believe I'm still cutting polygon count even now in these bits. So yeah, she's got nice optimized whiskers that have been rigged. I have like parent, because they're attached to the cheek, so I've got the cheek tweak bone, which will have these whiskers attached, but then I have another bone that just controls like the parent, so I can rotate the entire whiskers up and down, and then I've got these sort of tweak bones which sort of curve them, so I don't have to go in and move like a whole chain. I can just rotate one piece and then they all rotate smoothly, and then if I still want a bit of flair to them, I can rotate these ends to do that and make them wiggly or something. So yeah, so there's some cool whiskers. There's also been, let me just load up my last save there. There was also, I did a lot of like tweaking on the mouth on the inside. So a lot of this you can't see from out here, but I actually kind of remodeled her dentures so that she has fangs as well now, instead of just a flat row. And I think the older, I think I might have a backup of this somewhere. I don't know if I've kept it, because I had another version of the Met. Yeah, so you can see I've got an older version which I have overlaid inside right now, and I can't seem to move that without it breaking. So let me turn off her main mesh. But you can see this was from last week, and you can see that the teeth and tongue are just way too recessed and too small. So that was sort of how it was looking a week ago, and you can see like the corners of the mouth kind of bunch up around the sides. So I redid the topology on the sides of the mouth and on the inside of the teeth, so that instead of that, we get this. So the teeth actually are up against the mouth, and they have fangs, and the tongue actually takes up space inside. So that way when she opens her mouth, you'll get like what you would expect to see in it. It isn't just empty space. You'll see like a, you know, like a row of white teeth in her tongue, which if you look at my video thumbnails, you'll see that when Gabi opens her mouth, you'll see the same thing in the drawings. So, and the cool thing about the teeth is that I can move them as well. So if I don't like where the teeth are sitting, I can just take this bone and just move them. I can actually move them like anywhere, yeah. So this is how they look like on their own. And I've done a bit of topology work on them so that the normals are a bit nicer. The mirroring is still not quite working, but if you look on the left side, or our right, Gabi's left, that's what the normals are supposed to look like. So you'll see that the fang at the front there kind of tries to maintain the same shading as above it. And I've added an extra row of edges, like an extra edge loop just at the corner, because when you do that, it does a cool thing where it actually like affects the shading. When you put two edges close together, it makes it look like a sharp edge. So I did a bit of touching up there as well. So I can then take those and move those back. I can scale them. If I need the teeth to be like massive, I can do that. So yeah, so I can do stuff like that basically. What else did I do? I think it was mostly the mouth and the jaw. That's mostly like where the effort went, and doing the whiskers. But there's still a little more to do. And I think the hard bit is now over, hopefully, because doing the face is I think there's more bones in this face than the entire body. So that's probably why it was the hardest, because there's just so much packed into such a dense space. But now there's like a bit more left, and that's getting the rest of the head around her face, which I am hoping so bad that it is like not going to be as hard, because I got the ear to do, and I've got the hair, and then that's the entire rig done once I do that. So I'm going to start with the ear for the stream, because that is going to be easier, because it's just one little piece here. And yeah, I think, there was a picture I was going to show you. I didn't save this, but I was showing like screenshots to people of like the mouth. So there's the before and after on the topology on the mouth. And I didn't save this one, but I was able to make this face with the bones. Because I've got all those controllers in the mouth, I can do stuff like that. So yeah, so that's the you know, that's a face she's gonna have the whole time probably, like in game. It's probably just gonna be that face. But yeah, so that's what I can do with it now, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so there's a bit more left, but I think the harder bits are behind us now. So I'm gonna change this pose. I've got her in like this angry pose, so I'm gonna get her out of that. So if I set that back to normal, that's how her face looks like normally. And yeah, you can control a fair bit. But, you know, this will make for great use later when I'm making video thumbnails, or, you know, I gotta update. Once I finish this, I need to upgrade the Steam branding, and I'm gonna use this model all over it. And I can't wait to give her like an actual good illustration to use. It's gonna be awesome. But until then, we can't do any of that until we get this ear. So, gonna do the same as I've been doing for the last little while on these streams, and I'm gonna be going back to this meta rig layer, which with Rigify, you make everything in the meta rig, which is just placing bones, and then you tag them as certain things, and then you tell Rigify to generate a full rig from that, and that creates all of these controllers. So I'm basically using the Rigify framework to do a lot of custom bits and bobs. So Rigify does have a humanoid preset, which will have a completely different facial rig, but it'll have the fingers and everything else the same. Oh, and there's one more thing I forgot to show you. I've now merged the tail rig in with the rest of the body. So these used to be separate, but it turns out now that I know how Rigify works, like now that I know like really how Rigify works, I realized that I can actually merge that in and have it not break, which I had a lot of trouble with in her old model. So that is that's going to be no problem now. So that's all just the one thing, and it's parented to her hips and everything. And I can actually make it. There's something I can do with the tail where I can change how it follows and tracks. So if I rotate her hips like this, you'll see that her tail kind of stays pointing the same way. And there is an option. There's a slider in here somewhere called tail follow, and I can just turn that on, and now the tail will one-to-one follow the hips. So if I do this and like coil it like that, and I have her hips moving around, the tail is going to rigidly stay in alignment. But if I don't want it to, I can turn that off, and the tail will stay kind of in its own, it stays rotated on its own alignment, basically. So that's another, I totally forgot I did that, but that's another cool little development from the week. Anyway, back to the meta rig layer. We'll get some ears, some ear action going. So what I might do, this is what I did on our old model, is that I actually the entire rig is like symmetrical. So I'm gonna have bones for 2 ears, but I'm only gonna weight paint one of them, because who knows, just in case, maybe we have another character at some point that has 2 ears, might as well just have the symmetry there and just do it. And then later, if it is causing that much of a problem, we can just take that out. But it's easier to take stuff away than to go in and add stuff. So I'm just gonna start with, I think there is an ear preset for human ears, but I think we can use that for Gabi's ear here. So if I go to, let's see, I know that there's a specific type. I think it's like Rigify. I just want to, hold on. It won't show up in the menu I'm thinking, but I have to go to, I think I have to go to add. Yeah, I have to generate a face, hold on. Actually, you know what? I'll make a new document for this. Because I need to see the default ear, because you can't make the ear on its own from the menu, but you can tag something as an ear, but I need to see what the original ear, I just need to see a reference of what it is, how it's set up in the default Rigify generated rig. So by default, if I generate, this is how I started with the rig. We go to humanoid meta rig, upgrade face, generate. So this is what I started with, and I had to do a lot of modification. But starting from the meta rig, because there's a set of bones here that I want, and I need to see how they're tagged. So this is a basic super copy, skin basic chain, and these are not attached. And then this is not attached, and okay, so that one is attached, so that's a stretchy chain, a basic super, and another basic chain. So I'll try to get a similar set of bones in that shape, but for Gabi's ear, and see what, because I think when we generate it, it gives you, it's a bit hard to see with just wireframe, but it gives you this thing where you have like the tip of the ear, you can like move, and it'll move other bits of the ear with it. So we might have that for the tip of Gabi's ear. And then we have the lobe, which... Does Gabi have a lobe? I'll have to think about that. Maybe we might deviate from this a little bit. Oh, okay, so this here is not part of the ear, that's something else. But yeah, there's this master bone that has the whole ear parented to it. So I wonder what that is. Does that show up on the meta rig? I think that just might be the basic super. Let's have a look. Oh, this is okay, that's just parented to the head, and that's a basic super. Alright. So that's the basic super. That has... The basic super gives you this thing, and then everything else is just parented to it. But having these little tweak bones. So yeah, let's just, I'll put this on my other monitor. Yeah, because I'm trying to stick to what Rigify does, but just doing my version, if you know what I mean. Okay. So where's this is Gabi's meta rig. So yeah, her ear, I mean, ears kind of are similar, but are different in some ways. Do I use Mixamo? No. I used to for the prototype, but I'm going to be doing all the animations by hand. Gabi got the :3. Yes. Yes, she does. Okay. So now if I go to... I think... Oh, yep. Oh, that's a big bone. Hold on, I want to try that again. Oh no, I wasn't adding a bone, I moved an entire bone. I think it's Shift A, right? Add bone. Yeah, there we go. So we'll just make something in the shape of what we need. Yeah, and well, we'll see how we go. Now, here's where it gets a bit weird, because I know someone's mentioned about the number of ears Gabi's have. And if I take off her hair, you'll notice that she'll have these 2 human ears underneath. And I want to just clarify. I've clarified this a few times, but these ears are not for Gabi. These are from this is like a base mesh. So the plan is, as I was making Gabi, is that if I need more characters later for some reason, which who knows, it'd be great to have a starting point and not have to start from scratch, because that takes a long time. So the way I've gone about doing this rig, or doing the entire character, is that if I want to start another one, I can just use Gabi to start from and start modifying it. And another character might have human ears. So Felix, for instance, if he is going to have an in-game model, I'm going to see if I can go without giving him one, if possible. But if I do need one for him, then I've already got his ears, and a lot of the common features, like his arms and legs, those are all kind of done. I would just need to change up the torso and the eyes and the haircut. So that's a lot less work than starting from zero. So these are going to get taken off Gabi later, but, you know, they are there. They don't have any rigged bones on them, though, because while Rigify does rig ears, Arc System Works do not rig ears. They don't have bones for them, so I don't have them either, because they're not going to move, and they're going to be covered by her hair. So I'll leave the hair off so I can see the ear more easily, because it goes a bit underneath here with the skin. Hopefully the topology on the ear is going to play nice, because I actually have not really thought about... I think I'm starting to... There might be some issues with the topology of this ear. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm thinking I might have to add more edge loops to it. Luckily the ear is a very primitive, easy to do piece. So I'll start from the inside, because I'm trying to correspond where this would line up with the human ear. And I should give these names. So this would be ear L. And this would be ear .L.001. And I think the rest of these are just incrementally named. Yeah, ear L0304. Okay, so that's how they're named in Rigify. So we got ear... I should turn on names so I can see. Yeah, so we got ear 01. Oh. Uh-oh. What's going on there, big guy? What's going on? Why is it extruding from both? Oh, there we go. Okay. Ear 2. And I think they have 5 1, 2, 3, 4. So they have 5 bones. And I guess, yeah, I can see us, yeah. So our 5 will be like this. So I guess that'll do. And I just gotta check that they're all parented to... Yep, okay, great. So now we just gotta designate what these are in Rigify. So we have to go to the Rigify panel and tell it what rig type. So that's what this menu here is for. Rig type. I forgot what rig type I meant to type in. Basic super copy. And then the next one is skin basic chain. And then the next one is skin stretchy chain. Now, I have to also remember that this should not be connected. So I have to go in here into edit mode and remove it. So yeah, and I'm just doing what I'm seeing here with the how the Rigify ear works. So it has those bits separated. And I've found that if you don't do it the same way, it tends to have issues, so. Oh. So I'm just gonna turn off connected. Oh, actually, wait a minute. What is that parented to? I don't think I've got that parented right. Okay, this has to be parented to ear L. That is also parented to ear L. And that is also... Alright, I think that's the same. There might be a few other settings I might have to look at, but in terms of like the rig types and how they're parented, this is how they've got it. So I have to just then check on if there's any, because you get a lot of settings too. This is why Rigify is kind of cool, is that you do get a lot of settings for all of these. So for instance, the widget, I'm going to make that a, ooh, you know, I'll keep it a circle actually. I want to use a circle, as that's going to be the widget that gets generated to control it. And then there's the skin basic, and I have to make sure that, so it looks like it has these two on, and it has orientation set to face. And that looks good. Then there's the next one. How is that one set up? Okay, so this one has these two on. And yeah, because I don't know what all these do. So I'm just looking at the Rigify template here, and I'm seeing what values they've got put in, and I'm just copying the values, because it's like, the less you deviate, the better, usually. This one is just a child, so this doesn't have any properties. Then there's this one at the bottom, which is a basic chain. Or skin.basic chain. Which is a bit odd, because every time I've seen skin basic chain used, it always has like a child bone, and this one doesn't. So hopefully that will not cause a problem. Okay, that's about the same. So now, I'm gonna save. If we hit generate, it should give us something. Max, so you redoing all the animations yourself again? Yep. Well, you kind of have to. With this workflow, you can't just chuck in mocap. It won't look right. It's meant to... For those, I don't know how many of you have like watched the GDC talk. I'm kind of basing this all off. It's from the lead animator, or no, the lead technical artist from Arc System Works, who did Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and then there was some like Kill la Kill game, I think, as well. So if you've heard of any of those, and like the art style, so I'm trying to basically teach myself their workflow, and it's working out. Like this is how it's going so far. There's still a bit to go. I've got their modeling workflow done, the rigging workflow we're doing. It's like not exact. We've made a few compromises, but it's close enough. much closer than my first attempt anyway, so that's, anything is better than that. And then there's their animation workflow. And the animation workflow kind of, the thing that's kind of so brilliant about, as I've been researching all of this, is that everything is connected. Like, everything serves a purpose, not just immediately, but for later. So when they rig something a certain way, it isn't arbitrary. It means that in animation, it's going to come in handy. Or if they model something, even going back to like just the model, I remember I was like, I copped some flack for like the way I'd done the face. Like, people were telling me, no, you can't topologize it, that's wrong. And they were like trying to tell me that I can't use triangles for whatever, for no reason, no substantive argument or anything. Just, no, you can't do it because I said. But what they don't know is that that serves a purpose here as well. So for doing the mouth, I really do need like a master bone for the mouth so I can just scale the whole thing up, right? But you know how anime, they have like very exaggerated, like you can make the mouth massive and it's usually like really exaggerated, you know? So the reason you would topologize your mouth the way that you do it, the Arc System Works way to do it, because that's a decision you make in modeling, but it pays off in rigging here, because I can stretch this out heaps big without weight paint problems. With the skin around the mouth, like, bunching up like a hoodie sleeve. So I can make it like that, which a normal mouth couldn't really do. And because there's no other edge loops around the mouth, there's no stretching. Well, there is stretching, but it's like, it's by design. It's like meant to be. So you don't have all these edge loops like here being crunched, because that throws the shading off. So it's little things like that you wouldn't think about, but like kind of make or break the entire thing. Like, if you get that wrong, you have to like, you might as well not do it, you know? Like, if you get those little bits, you gotta really pay attention to all that. So in terms of the stage now, we're deviating a little bit from it because I haven't seen any of their rigs with ears like this. So I kind of have to go into my own, like, what I think I should do for these bits, because, you know, it's a unique character. But in terms of everything else, I've tried to like conform it very tightly to sort of how they do it. And to then just chuck it in Mixamo would defeat like the entire point. Like, it would not work, because it would just look like someone has chucked it into Mixamo. So yeah, that wouldn't really work. Like, and a lot of these, Mixamo would not know how to read this rig, because there's so much extra stuff, it would not know what to do. So yeah, and the animations wouldn't work either, because a lot of the Arc System Works animations all have like bone scaling and all this stuff that you just couldn't really get from a Mixamo thing. So it means you have to just do it by hand, but if you do it by hand, it'll look better, because it's meant to look like an anime, and you can't make it look like an anime with Mixamo. I guess to give you an example of what I'm talking about, I don't know which pose it was, but I've got a test pose here. A lot of these are broken, so I'll have to redo some of these, but I had a pose that is like impossible to do yeah, here we go. So like this, doing a pose like that, you need to have you have to just do it yourself if you want to be able to do this. Like, you can't chuck a Rigify thing in and get something. Oh no, not Rigify, Mixamo. You can't just, yeah, like, you have to kind of, because there's a lot of extra, we'll talk more about it when we get to animation, because this is gonna not really make sense now. It'll make sense later, but yeah, you have to like design the model to be animated the way you want with this style, because it's meant, you know, it's anime. It's meant to look like stylized. So you have to make the rig stylized and the model stylized for it to all work. When you don't get that right, it looks off, and then people say, oh, this looks a bit weird. And so that's kind of the whole idea, is that you don't want people thinking that something's off, that's what will happen if you last minute go, yeah, well, let's just put it in Rigify now. That's what had happened, is that you have this gorgeous model and then it just looks like someone's mocapped it. In fact, there was a game I remember that did that, and it did look strange. What game was it? I think it might have been Sonic 06, actually. Because I think for the cutscenes they mocap the characters, but because the characters' proportions are not the same as the mocap suit, it just looks kind of strange. Like the movements just look not like a cartoon character is not supposed to move like a person, you know? Like it looks like someone like in kids shows, like the Teletubbies, it's just a guy in a big costume. That's sort of how it looks. And I know Gabi's a bit more humanoid, but I think the same kind of rule applies. If you have like a stylized character that's meant to look not realistic, it'll look weird if you try and use like stock animations on it. I'm just moving some of those bones around to kind of be on the tip of the ear. And we'll yeah, okay, that's a bit nicer. So now we'll get it, I'm a bit worried with the topology here on the weight paints. I'm a little worried. Yeah, I've got a feeling that I think I need to do something with the ear here. Cause well, I mean, let's just try doing something. Maybe I don't need to go and change too much. I'm just worried about the back, but there aren't a lot of bones on the back, so we might be fine. So to do weights, we switch to because when you make a Rigify rig, this is the actual bones. I don't know how easy that is to see, but these are the actual bones it generates, which are similar to the meta rig, but they do make a few more. So the arm will have like 4 bones instead of 2, so that it can wiggle and that kind of stuff. And then there's all these different other layers that have the controllers and pivots and constraints. They're all on these other layers. So we want the deform layer to do weight paints on, because we don't want to weight stuff to controllers, because you just don't do that. And then we select. So you can see when it's purple, it means there's no weights, no weight paints. And I don't know if there's, okay. There is a vertex group here already, because it's mapping the entire head. So I want to take some of that off, because we're going to have issues if I leave it fully weight painted to the head. So I just want to weight paint maybe just like the bottom row. Yeah, just like that bottom set of vertices, so that stays inside the head. And then we can start. I'm probably going to go in and like manually punch in numbers, but we'll just go into each one and create like some, just so it makes a vertex group. Okay, there we go. So now I look at one of these bones and I'm like, all right, how do I want to, how much of each vertice do I want following the bone? So that's what it's like a heat map, I guess. So when you like start drawing on a vertice, when it's red, it means it's going to follow the bone. When it's blue, it's going to not follow the bone. And in between is sort of, you know, a gradient. So, how do I want to do this? Because I found punching them in manually is kind of better in this case, because for things like the eye that I was doing the other week, the way that the topology tends to work with at least with the Arc System rigs I've looked at, is that the influence kind of tapers off after each edge loop. So each of these edge loops is the same value. So you've got 0.8, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, and it's just easy to just punch it in, and it's consistent. If you try and paint it, I don't know, maybe there's a way to paint it where it doesn't get all jittery, because a lot of the time when I try and just paint it like this, some vertices, if you start moving the bones around, some of the vertices track more than others. So I just prefer to just select the vertices and then just like type in a value, like a hard value. So this one I'd say 0.8. That's going to be, I'm feeling 0.8 for that one. And then for these ones, I'm feeling like a 0.5. Actually, I might, yeah, we'll try a 0.5. And then for the next bone, we'll do 0.5 there as well. And then like a 0.8 on the tip. Actually, maybe even a full influence. We'll go full on. And then for this row, and I'm only really focusing on just the edges, because the topology at the back I don't think will be as affected. So this would be like that would follow pretty closely with that bone. and then wham, there we go. I think I should probably get those vertices at the back as well. And then maybe just so that it... Usually when I don't know, I think my eye just, when I see the color map like this, I just think there has to be a little bit on this side for it to look smooth. And we'll see what that does later. I can't really show it now without like changing the layers, but I just have a feeling that, you know, that has to have a bit of influence on the other side, because I've seen that same thing for the rest of the face, where if you see it suddenly go to blue, like from red straight to blue, it's gonna look weird. So I find that smoothing that out a little will often look better. And then for this one, ooh. Give it a 0.8. Isn't that the pose from their combat thumbnail? Yes. Sorry, I took a while to respond there. But yes, it is. See, isn't that cool? Because I bet you a lot of people that looked at that thumbnail didn't know that that was the 3D model. They thought I went and drew it, because that's what I normally do, right? Whenever I want a thumbnail. That's actually my least favorite bit, because I've put in all this work to make the video, and I'm like, oh yes, the video's done. And it's like, now you have to spend 2 days illustrating a thumbnail, like a custom thumbnail, and it's like, oh, I just want to release this already, man. But no one's gonna watch it if it's not gonna, it doesn't have a thumbnail. So you gotta like, I have to then like laboriously draw up, and I draw like 5 different like sketches of like what pose I want. And then once I kind of like show it to some people, I go, all right, I think this is the pose. And then I have to go and ink it and color it and shade it. And it's a process. It's a process. It takes a bit. It's exhausting. So with this model, with my grand plan with this model, I will never have to do that again. And that will save so much time, not just for video thumbnails, but in a lot of stuff like that, similar tasks. So yeah, it's a lot of work to create that model to be good enough to use on a thumbnail or whatever. But that's basically, I don't have to draw her anymore. Like, that's kind of why I wanted to do this, because I found that that was taking up a lot of time. And I think I don't, because the solution to that problem could be just make a first-person game and don't have a main character, but that's not me, you know. That kind of, I wouldn't want to do that. I gotta have my mascot in, but drawing the mascot is time-consuming, especially if it's like a detailed character. And you know, I think a lot of you, I mean, a lot of you know who Gabi is. A lot of you probably like, you know, all the merch has who on it, not me, has Gabi on it. Not the logo, not anything else, it has Gabi on it. That's, to put it a marketing perspective on it, she's my brand. So it's like, if I'm gonna have to draw her a lot, could I like streamline that? And it turns out you can by making a 3D model, basically. But I think, like I said about, I don't know what, I said this a little earlier in the stream, but the idea is that you can use this as well for the website, for Steam. Because, you know, I don't know how many of you have done research on like Steam marketing, because that's like a whole kind of subgenre of research. And there's people that, you know, they will like swear up and down. It's like, you gotta have a good capsule image. It's all about the capsule image. You gotta pay a professional to make you a capsule image. And it's like, well, I could just make one. So I did, and I have one that's like pretty decent. But with this model, I could make an even better one and get even more wishlist, which you can wishlist the game right now, link down below, by the way. I keep forgetting to plug the Steam page. But go to the Steam page right now. Actually, here's going to be my little plug for the Steam page, right? Do I remember the URL? I don't know, but I do have a... If you go to this link, it'll redirect you to the Steam page. I'll show you how the current capsule looks. So make sure to smash wishlist, by the way, guys. I don't look. This is not a sponsored. I have no ulterior motive here at all. But it would just be really cool if you wishlisted it. But that's how the current capsule image looks. And there's more images than just the cap. Like the capsule is the most important one. This one is very like that's the one that you see when you search it in the store. Like that's the there's this one. This is actually slightly different. There's actually two. There's this, I don't know the name of this one. They all have names, but there's this smaller one that's a bit more widescreen, and then there's the one here. And I keep getting told that this one is like the most important one. So this is using a drawing I made a few years ago. And then the other one I'm using is using a lower quality drawing, but it's because it's small, I can get away, like the line work is terrible, but because it's a small image, I can get away with it. But it isn't very consistent, and I want to change up the colors a bit as well. I think I could do better than that now. And then there's the library graphics. So if we go to SteamDB and search my game, because I'll show you how it, because you know when you open a game in the Steam client and it has like the box art and it has like the cover image, like I think if I go here I can show you all of them. So this is what that's like, you know, when you're browsing the library page, that's the image you need for that. And then there's another image when you open the game and it has like the logo on the top and it has the play button underneath. So that's what that image is for. And then there's the logo. Now, imagine if this looked better. Like, there's worse on Steam than this, and this is like okay, I think, but imagine if it looked like better, you know? Like, that's sort of what I'm thinking. So, is there any more? I think those are the only, and then there's the icon, which is like tiny, like this. So, that one is using a completely different drawing as well, but I wanna have it all kind of consistent if possible, but because it's like a lot of work to like redraw the character, I'm just using ones from different time periods for each thing. But yeah, like I'm trying to see if there's let me just quickly, because I want to show you where this is gonna go, because I've already got some images to give you an idea of what I want. Let me just open my magic folder. So if we scroll a little bit, oh, where did I put it? This screenshot is like not the most polished one, but it gives off the idea. So I've got old Gabi on this side, and then I've got new Gabi. So imagine like the line work is just a lot crisper. The face is more defined, and the hair is neater, and I can do a lot more poses and have them look all like this. So that's the thing I'm kind of jealous of, to be honest. Like, the 3D model's line work is like better than what I can draw. So I'm like, oh, I mean, that's cool, but you know, I wish I could do line work by hand that looked that sharp, right? But imagine every single illustration having that sort of cleanness to it. So the shading is still a little glitchy, of course, but once I fix that up, you know, imagine the entire channel, the Steam page, the website, everything. Imagine it all looking like consistently good like that. And, you know, you might say, well, Ray, is consistency important? Yeah, absolutely. You know, I feel like it's kind of a mark of quality when the quality level is like the same everywhere. Like if you go to like the website and you've got like worse drawings, it's, you know, it's like, ooh, what happened, you know? So to have that impression not happen, it's got to look, you know, it has to just look the part. So that's what I'm really excited for. And we can actually, once I get the ear and stuff, we'll be able to start doing all of that. Because I don't actually, like, that's just rig stuff. Like, you don't need the animations finished to make those graphics. The animations are, you know, when you get in game, that's kind of when you want to start worrying about that. So I just gotta, with the weights, I'm just trying to think about like what vertices. I think I want these two vertices mapped a little bit to this bone. We'll have to like start moving these bones around to test this. But I just want to get as good as I can without moving anything, and then we'll do a deep dive. Start moving stuff, seeing how it actually... I'm a little worried about this. I can just kind of see. I can see that there will be issues here. I can just see it. So what we might do to preemptively do that. We'll add some influence to these middle bones. Bit too much. Alright, it's better. It's still not great, but it's better. Alright, I can't really see how else this will go until we start moving stuff, so let's go. Ooh. It's not bad, but it's not great. I see. God, it's really laggy. God damn. Alright, I can start to... We got some issues. We got some problems. Oh, please. I don't want to have to remodel the whole ear because I might have to, but I don't. I really don't want to. I really don't want to, but it's like... The edge loops are not gonna... What I feared is happening. The flow is all wrong. This is because I made the ear way before I finished. Like, you can kind of tell that the ear was done, like, before the body. Because, you can tell that I learned stuff and that I didn't apply it here. Because now that I've done the arms and the legs and everything, the torso and the face... Because I hadn't finished all that when I first modeled the ear, and now I see what was the problem here, is that there needs to be an edge loop going the full way around. It shouldn't go down like this. The edge loops have to be more like ringlets for me to get the kind of movement I want. And at the moment, it's sort of, there are some, but it's like also not consistent. So like there's this, but then it cuts off. It should connect up here, and then there should be another loop. So I might have to like change up how this is done, because I think this is before I had like read for like hours about Arc System Works weight painting and the stuff they tell you to avoid. Because you can see that it's just a bit jank, you know what I'm saying? It's a little jank. I mean, I like the overall shape when it's idle, but yeah, I can do better than this. I have to do better than this. This is not gonna... It's gonna look so weird. But to give you an idea on what we'll be able to do once I get the weights right, I can move the whole ear with this bone. And actually, there are some vertices. Ooh, oh. Alright, well, let's fix those up. And I know I'm gonna go and redo these, but I want to get it as good as I can so I have time to think about how I want to approach it and see... I don't know, usually when I keep going with something, I end up finding something out, you know what I mean? So these yeah, what are these from? What are these meant to be? What is that meant to be for? Oh, I think I get it now. Yeah, that's not being... Those vertices have no influence anywhere, so they're just staying stationary. Because I had them parented to the head earlier, and they are no longer like that. Oh, hold on, I gotta be... So I would want that with this. That's a bit nicer. I don't know, maybe there's bits I can salvage, but it might actually... Oh, I'm trying to think if it'd be easier to just remake, like, start a new mesh for the ear, because, like, there are... The back does need some influence, I think. Or, no, what it needs... Ooh, it needs, like... Yeah. So all of these need to be on that first bone, I think. Because that's everything's parented to that bone. So, okay, well, this will help me figure stuff out later, when I know where things... Just where everything needs to be on the parent bone. And I think these are also uninfluenced. Because I need the whole ear to move. Something's still not right. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now I can move the whole ear and it doesn't collapse fully. I mean, let's see if I missed any. So there we got the control layer. All right, see, that's now acting more like a solid shape. So I might keep this as a reference for, like, roughly how the bones and weights... Oh, wait, what's that? So there's a little bit... I'll keep it as like a reference, but I do want to just fix any weird problems like that I can just fix with weights. Because I think any other issue is likely topology related. So this vertice needs... Oh, wait, so why is it folding? Because I don't think that's topology that's doing that. There's some other vertice that's being caught. What is going on? Oh, no, that's just... I think that's just weight paints doing that. Like, that's... Because I've noticed with this stuff is that there are some problems that are caused by the topology and some by the weights, and those don't always intersect. Like, sometimes you can't use weights to fix stuff. So this might be one of those cases. But I just gotta, like, I just want to make sure, because sometimes it isn't clear, because there's just a lot of stuff going on in this little corner from the looks of it. So I'm trying to think, like, where... Because there's a vertice that's meant to be here that I can't see. Or there's this bit where it's, like, folding here. I don't know what's going on. Like, what's this bit? What's that from? If that's just... Okay, if that's just there... Okay, it is. Alright, so that's topology. That isn't weight paint problem, that's a topology problem. Like that, no amount of vertex painting is gonna solve that. So that's, Alright, so I think I've... Yeah. So I just want to, like, assess what is, like, topology, what is vertex, what's fixable with vertex paints, and just assess and then make a decision. So back to here, let's try moving this one more time, now that I've got it. This is literally, will be as good as I can get it with this topology, which is not amazing. So I think we will have to change how this has been done. So that's going to mean that the UV map is going to get ruined, but that's okay, because this is the ear. It's a lot easier to deal with. You can also see, yeah, I'm starting to see more issues that I didn't even think about. Oh, wait. No, here we have one little problem that can be solved by weight paints. Is that vertice needs to be with this. But that's as good, that is literally the best we can do, just with the layout of things. But, so yeah, it means we're gonna do a bit of refactoring, but I don't mind it as much because it's the ear. It isn't the whole face. So, you know, I've done much harder. But I just want to play around, because I also need to think about how do I want to use the ear in animation? How do I actually want to interact with this thing? So now that we've got something going, we could just play with it. I know that the vertex paints are all kind of whack, but this gives us at least something to play with, and we can go, okay, well, how do I want this to behave? Like, now that I can actually see it, like a rough version of it, how do I actually want this to work? Like, what do I want to be able to do? How much do I want to have a thing that's, like, easy to control, or do I want a lot of, like, customization? So I'll give that a save, and we'll open Gabi's old model, and we'll have a look at how I did it. We'll have a look at what I did on the animations for her, because I did use her ear a little bit in some of the animations, but not all of them. Oh, Terra Nation, thank you so much for the $3. I appreciate it. That's such a cute sticker too. Thanks so much. Ear fluff? No, we're not going to do ear fluff this time. Let's open up old Gabi real quick. She used to have that, but I don't want to. I just don't want to. You know, I just don't want to. It's just too much work. Like, yeah, I had all this ear fluff. So I'm gonna see if I can take off the outline and everything, so it's a bit easier to see what's going on. Turn on the wireframe. So this was her old face rig. I'm actually thinking, oh... No, we'll get to that in a bit. But in her old model, her ear controls are somewhere here. So that's, you can even, actually, here's another reason why I wanted to redo this as well, is that her old ear was so small. I think most people didn't even notice that she had a cat ear when they were just, without looking at the Steam page or the itch page, like just looking at the in-game model from this angle, I don't think they, honestly, I don't think anyone, like, maybe half the people just didn't notice. That's what I think. But it looks like I've done something a little different. It looks like I've actually got the ear pivoted somewhere else. Because my ear is actually pivoted up here. Like on the inner corner. But old Gabi's pivot is on the outer corner. That's so curious. I wonder if maybe that would be better. Maybe we should do it like that. Because mine, yeah, it'll like collapse into the head if I have the pivot on this side. So we'll have to move that around so that the pivot is like, you know, it doesn't clip. Because if I try and move the ear down, like having her look depressed, it's going to clip into her head and her hair as well. Like it's going to be barely visible. But if we have that pivot on the outside, okay, I did something right there at least. But then I have a similar setup here with the controllers where I can kind of tweak these. I do like the way I did this, or almost actually. I do wish that it controls more of what's behind it than what's at the front, which I don't like so much. And then I've got these, this one. Oh, I don't like, actually no, I don't like how I've done this. I did it, that's not a great job. I could have done better. And then there's meant to be another. Oh, is that it? Oh, all right. I guess that's all the controllers. Interesting. Oh, okay. So if I try and do, so you'll notice this behaves a bit differently because I need to move I need to transpose all of the bones around a little bit. Because you'll notice that when I move, yeah, so what I want, so when I move these two, oh, maybe I do want it like this. Because when I move these two corners, it only moves the corner. But when I move this one at the top, it moves this bone with it. And I know that's because that's one's parented. And maybe I don't want, do I want that? Do I want it so that when I move the tip, it takes this bit with it? Because this makes the ear massive, which is fun. This is kind of funny though. But it, do I want that? So if I want to like have the tip wiggle, like if I want to have the tips of her ears wiggle, do I want this bit to move with it, or do I want it to stay still like this? Because with the old ear, the two anchors on the side stay where they are. And it just does that. And I gotta decide what I want. Because I think a real ear would do what I've got here currently. Where, you know, imagine this as like the, I don't know what it's called, but imagine that as the tip of your ear. If I pinched the top of your ear, the side of your ear would also move with it like this. But it seems odd that it does it on the one side and not the other. That's the thing. So I gotta think, how do I want this to behave? Well, to answer your question, Mongo, the face is finished. The hard bit, yes, the face is finished. But we still have the rest of the head. But the ear is going to be a bit more work than I thought because of how it's topologized. So I might move on, because there is something else we have to also do, and that's the hair. I've got to decide what I want to work on. Do I want to start doing the ear, or do I want to do the hair? Because both are kind of equal importance at this stage. I also noticed sometimes it's a bit easier to decide stuff when you like hide and just look at the bones and imagine the mesh there, because I know the mesh isn't deforming great. So if I imagine her ear, how would I want it? Would I want this staying in place? I don't know. I'll have to think that one over. I think we'll move on to the hair, because I'm gonna have to think about that. Because it's an important bone, because I'm gonna do like, I want to do a lot of emotion with her ear. I do a little bit in the old rig, but I underutilized it a lot. And I want to actually like go and put some personality in her ears. So when she's like running and when she's jumping and stuff, I want the ear to, you know, react to what's going on. You know, when she's grinding, I want the ear to kind of like flow in the wind. I'll see if I've got any examples of that in the old rig. See some of the old animations. I know that the walk has it, but I think that's it. I think I only used it for the walk because for time. I just ran out of time. So if I go to wherever I put walk, oh, it's not going to loop very well, is it? But you can see here I'm actually using those bones to have follow through on the ear, and it's going to play weird. It's going to play way too fast for some reason, so I'll just try and loop it. It's really fast. But you can see the ear kind of, you know, it's got follow through on it. That's kind of the main, I want to use it a lot for actions, and then if I do have, if I do need to draw her with like an emotion, I want to be able to pose the ears to like have them stick up or droop. Because, you know, why wouldn't you want that? It'd be awesome. But that's going to take some more thought, so we'll move on to the hair, because I have an idea on how I want to do the hair. So with the hair, I think I've had a lot of like suggestions to like add physics in Unreal, and I've consistently turned that down for a good reason. Because there's some, I don't know what it is, it's some like Steam it's not early access even, it's just like a demo. I don't even know if it's available for download even, but it's like this I don't know what it's called, but it was some like tech, it's not really a game, it's like this anime tech demo with Unreal 5. And it's just some guy that's like made like a cityscape, and he's got UE5 nanite lighting in it, or lumen, and then he's got like an anime character walking around, but it's not like a game, so it isn't like a, you know, it's not like something you'd play, it's just like a tech demo, I guess. But in the tech demo, you know, it's got the thing I tend to see a lot of the time where, you know, you'll have some guy that's got a Vroid character, he's imported it into Unreal, he's added like, you know, physics to like the hair and the clothes, and you have them walking around, right? And people call that the anime style, but it actually isn't really. It's an adjacent style to anime, but you put it. I'm trying to remember the name of it, because it's itching at my brain now. I'll see if I can find it, because I need to show you. I need to show you what I don't want for you to understand this next step. I don't know what it's called. I can find it though. I think it's called like Anime Tokyo or something. I think I might have found it. Yeah, here we go. It's this. So this is like what I saw. I've seen this posted a few places. I don't know if he's going to show it in the video with the character, but it's basically just a Vroid character with physics on it. And it's like got Mixamo animations. But you look at this and it's like, oh, it reminds you of anime, but that's it, is that it just reminds you of anime. It looks good for other reasons, but this isn't like what, I don't know, like I haven't watched anime in a while, but I don't remember a single anime looking like this. Like, there's no line work, there's no cell shading, there's no, I mean, it's pretty, but it isn't, like, it's pretty for a different reason. Like, it's almost like its own style. I would even call this a different style altogether. This is like CG anime style, which is not really what I'm after. Because you look at this and it's gorgeous, but you know it's a game. Like, you know it's a video game. You know that it's a 3D render. You can tell by a lot of things. You can tell by the shading, the animation. Like, this is, to bring back the Mixamo thing, this is why I'm not doing Mixamo, is because I don't want it looking like this. Because it looks like Mixamo. Like, I look at this and go, oh, this is Mixamo. I don't think, oh, wow, these are amazing animations. I think this is motion captured. which is what I don't want people to I don't want people thinking that about my game, because it's like anyone can do this, right? Like you can go into Mixamo, add a thing, go into Vroid. I'm pretty sure this looks like really close to the default Vroid. Like anyone, like give yourself a few weeks and you could do the same thing. So to stand out, that's why like everything with Gabi is very deliberate. So you know, I'm trying to make it so that you get a frame from like Pokemon or something, and you put it next to Gabi, and it's like you think both of them are drawings. But you put this next to just any anime at the top of your head, it will not resemble it at all. Like, you can tell. So, and part of it comes down to like these physics things they do, because I notice a lot of the time people want to have like their IKs and their physics on things, like oh, the hair bounces and the bag bounces and stuff. But to do that works when you're doing normal animation like this. That'll work on most things, fine. But if you want to do something stylized with like with a specific style of animation, you can't rely on physics, like simulated physics for this stuff, because it'll look simulated. And the whole point is that it doesn't look simulated, is that it looks like someone drew it. So with if anyone here studied the Arc System Works talk, you'll know that in their rigs, because Gabi doesn't have a lot of loose-fitting clothes, thankfully, thank God. But in a lot of their characters, is there an example I can show of the Arc System? Because I want to show you now what I do want. There's a specific video that shows like an animation file from Arc System characters, and it's perfect because it literally has nothing else. It has a gray background and it just has the character, and I cannot remember for the life of me where it is. It's on this website called 4gamer.net. So I'll search that and search May animation and see if I can find, because yeah, okay, here we go, I found it. Just give me a sec. So this, let's look at this studio. So this is an animation from Guilty Gear, and I think they're just going to play the animation in like slow motion or something. So this is done using limited animation, where there's no interpolation. Every keyframe is like hand posed. And I know it's in slow motion, so you can't really, you know, can't see it happening in real time. But this is like, to do that, you can't have like physics bones and stuff. Like, okay, here's a great example right here. You see these two frames? I don't know if you guys caught that. Let's go back a bit. Is it gonna let me go back? Hold on. It's this frame. You see that? See that difference? So the way they're able to do that, if you actually look at what changes, because they have bones rigged through all of these clothes. So the hood, the little skirt thing, the pants, like the cuffs on the pants, the boots, they have, and the belts, they have bones in there that are just like anchor bones that they can move and scale. And between certain frames like this, they will just move them slightly. And it's really noticeable here on the boot. You can see that a little bit of her boot moves. So that you can't simulate that. Like, you have to do that with intention. But if you do it, it'll look like someone has actually gone in and animated it. Cell animated, which is the look I want. Now, thankfully, I've been a bit smarter in my case, because I haven't given Gabi baggy clothes, so I don't have to do this as much. But I will have to do it for the hair. And if we take a look at this character's hair, you can see that what I think they've done is they've got bones going through each strand, and they just kind of move them around a bit. And then they've got bones for the hat as well. Now, this character also has a massive ponytail, which thankfully Gabi does not have, so I don't have to worry about that. I just have to worry about strands along her, like the crown of her head mainly. And then here for this pose, you know, they've like taken the bones and curved them up a bit. You need to be able to control all of that to get that to look right. So that's why, another reason why Mixamo, you can't just chuck Mixamo in, like you can't do that stuff in Mixamo. And then I think that's like her idle pose, I think? And yeah, so, I've seen the idle animation. I don't know where to find it, but I've seen that because she'll like rock back and forth, and then these strands of hair will like move with her head. So, the way I'm going to do this because you gotta just rig it. Like you can't shortcut it. If you want it to look like that, and which I've gone to great lengths to already do for everything else, so I might as well, you know, fully commit. To get it to go for the hair, you have to just add bones and animate it yourself. But you know, then it'll look really cool. And that's actually what I did with this version. I actually did the same thing, but because I didn't get the other small things right, it doesn't look as good. But if we were to pick a different animation clip of, let's see, her like grinding maybe, or wall running, like this, I do have a bit of hair motion going on. So I know it's very fast, but I actually do have the hair flickering about. Now here's the thing. It was a lot harder to do this here. And this is going to tie back to something I said in one of my streams months ago. Because I remember when I first started doing the hair again, I said I deliberately wanted to make it neat. And I didn't like how I had just modeling wise, not rigging, just modeling wise. I didn't like how I had done it here because of how messy and it is. And I know some people kind of like the unkempt look, but rigging and animating that, it creates problems because I have to put in more bones to control each of these strands, and it's just a lot of work. But now I've been a bit more thoughtful with the modeling. So I don't need as many. I only need 1, 2, maybe 4 on each side at most. And because it's mostly symmetrical, which it wasn't before, this is very asymmetrical, and it's a lot harder to do this. But in here, the top is asymmetrical, but anything below a certain, there's like a specific edge, which I've marked, and everything below it is like perfectly symmetrical. So that'll save time too, if I can get that going. But yeah, the idea is you put in bones, and also, it's a bit harder to see with, let me turn the animation off, and just have her standing normally. I'll show you this. With, can I get the wireframe? Yeah, so you see how if you look at the edge loops, they're layered and they don't line up. That creates a big nightmare for rigging, as I learned the hard way. Oh, sorry, I've lost you guys. There you are. So yeah, like you see how the edges, like if we follow this edge on the hair, it like goes down and then up. And then you kind of lose track of it, right? Imagine weight painting that. And I tell you what, I don't have to imagine it because I did it and I hated it. But look at this. You see how all the edges are lined up? You know how much easier that's going to be? Like instead of this, they're all in a line, like they're all straight. So if I need a bone and I need to weight paint it with influence of like 80%, 50%, I just have to select the row. I don't have to go in and like, and like select each vertice, you know, going up and down. I can just sort of marquee select in a straight line. So, because I thought about this. I thought about this when I started doing the hair. I was like, how much of a nightmare do I want this to be? So, enough talking, let's get into it. So, I don't know how far we'll get, but we do need some bones to get this working. So what we'll do, because I just want to focus on one side of the head at the moment. And I gotta think, we'll do the sides. That'll be the easiest, because we just have these long strands. And we might be able to actually, I gotta think of how I want to group these. Because I know what, well, let's start with what I absolutely know I want. I know I want one here. So we'll go to the meta rig. I don't know what type of bone I want though, because I'm just using like basic chains for her hair here, and that was like okay. So we'll just do that for now, because I think the weight painting and bone placement is not gonna... We might be able to try out different types of Rigify bones, but I think we just need like maybe 3 bones going down, and I just want to get the weights. Worry about how they move later. So we'll add bone. Ooh. Do I want them going... yeah, I want them going down like this. And I gotta think where I want them to start. I think I want them to start like here-ish, like at that level of the head. And what I'll do to keep things kind of... It's gonna look a bit weird, but I'm gonna have them going straight down. with the bones. I'm not gonna try and like match them to the curvature of the head, because I think everything will just get in the way. So we're just gonna keep it like straight, because the hair does go straight down. It's a lot more. I gave her a real good haircut, so you know, so it's hopefully it should be a lot easier to manage this time. But you know, that's the thing. I know the Gabi's first model did take a while, but I don't regret doing it because I learnt a lot. I learnt how much you can really suffer if you like, you know, depending on the choices you make. So with the benefit of hindsight, I modeled this hair meticulously, much more. I think it actually did take less time to do the hair neatly than it did to do it like this even. So yeah, that's a cool bonus too. But I do vividly remember modeling the hair the first time, and it was borderline traumatic. Okay, it wasn't fun. It was not fun. Now I gotta think, what do I want to name? I gotta think about what I want to name these two. I haven't thought about what I want to name these yet. I think naming them 1, 2, 3 on the chain down, but then naming each strand. That each strand should probably have its own name, a descriptive name, not just a random name. What do I want to name them? I gotta think for a minute. Like front, middle? I don't know if something like that would work. Front left, maybe? Front side? Maybe. Well, let's think. Because the front is. I'm not going to do the front yet. The front's going to be like her fringe, and then maybe that bit on the side will be front as well. So this, I'm gonna call that, because it's very prominent from the front. So we'll call this, because I might have a few different rows on the front. So we might call this like hair. Ooh. Dot F for front. Dot L. Or do I want to put the... Yeah, we'll do the L second letter, and then we'll do... Yeah. Hair front. Oh no. It needs to... We need another indicator. So maybe like an index, like front... well, A would be at like the very front. Like I'm thinking A, B, C for like front, and then side A, B, and then back. In terms of like the strands. So I'm thinking of strands like from, if I was to like have them from the top of her head, I want to group them into strands and name them. And I need to know sort of, yeah. Because like, bone 1 is not going to be good enough. Let me tell you now, we're not, if I ever export anything again that has bone 1 in it, it's over. I'm gonna actually, like, I'm gonna quit game dev if I see myself doing that. It's over. So let me think. Hair F for front, or maybe left. No, actually, yeah. So hair F, and then this will be like, well, no, we've already got left for the side of the head. Because I was thinking like middle, left, and right, and then like no, maybe back. Maybe front, middle, back. Maybe we could do that. So hair F and then B for back. And then the one that is like a bit further over her eye will be hair F M L for like middle. It's like front, middle, and then left. And then I guess the one in the front, that'll be a unique one. That won't have symmetry on it because her fringe isn't. Well, actually, the entire front would not have. We'd not need to distinguish between left and right. So that, because that's not symmetrical, so I don't need to worry about that. But for the back, so we'll have the hair FBL, so front, back, left, and then for the side, it'll be hair S for side, and then maybe side front, because it's more to the front, and then side back. Yeah, I think that's how I want to do it. All right, I'm happy with that convention. So this will, and then this will just increment, so 001 and then 002. Gotta name your bones. Always gotta name your bones. So the reason I've got them on as well is because then I've got the names turned on. So because you know when you look at this, there's like so many bones overlapping with each other. Well, you've got the names on and they're named. It's just so much easier to like pick what you want because I remember the names and it's like I know that hair front back left is going to be here, so I'm going to move the camera there and then find the name and click on it. Because once we do the whole head, there's going to be lots of bones overlapping here, so I want to make sure they're all named now before we make 10 of these. And I should probably decide the rig type, and we'll maybe just make it a copy chain. I think that's what I want. I'll save this first and generate it with the copy chain because there's a few different types of chains, so we'll just see what this does first. And then I'll decide if I'm happy with it. I just need just a chain of bones. That's all I need. Okay, that looks about what I want for the moment. I might think of something better, but I want to it's like hierarchically moving these bones. So yeah, that's good. Let's actually, does it make a deform bone separately? Yes, it does. Fantastic. Cool, all right. So we'll just do a basic chain for those. There might be a better thing to do, but honestly, like, I can change the type later. Like I can, once I just need the bones and the weights, and then if I want them to behave different, like if I want to instead be able to take the hair from the bottom and IK it or something, I could do that later. I just want to be able to have the weights, because I know that's going to be the hard bit. So let's copy these to the next group. So this will be like this. There's this next strand that's a little bit behind, like here. So I'm not going to do each individual one, but I'm going to do like the prominent strands of what I think I'm going to have to move, you know? So I know this big strand at the side, I'm going to have to move that one a bit. This one I'm probably going to move around. And then maybe these two at the back will like maybe be grouped into one. So let's, oh yeah, make sure I name it as well. So this is now, instead of head front, this will be hair S front. So SF front left. And then, yeah, there we go. Perfecto. Sorry, I'm in the zone, guys. It's not pre-recorded, it's game dev. You gotta focus. It's not a just chatting stream. You gotta be concentrated. But I'll check in on chat. Why not? Seeing as you're asking. Oh, Joe Roski's got some interesting hot takes that I would agree with. He says average Unreal game now pumped with over-engineered nanite. Yeah, I see that. I see it a lot, and I mean I don't like poking fun at games a lot, but it's like I'm kind of tired of it, you know? Like I get asked so often. There's this one guy I know who he studied a little bit of Unreal. I knew he was a student of mine, and he was in the programming stream, and we would talk about stuff. The thing is that after he did his studying, he like didn't make anything after that. Like he works in an unrelated field completely. But whenever I run into him or meet up with him, he'll like kind of pester me about like the latest Unreal developments, even though he's not, like, he doesn't have any reason to pay attention to it because he's not making anything. But he'll like tell me stuff, and it'll be like, oh, did you see the new Unreal 5.3? And like it's got and then there'll be like something that I just have no interest in, like I don't know, I can't even remember. Like I'm trying to think of what's like nanite, probably, like that was one of the ones I heard about, or like some AI thing or whatever. I don't know. You know, something along those lines, right? And it'll tell me like, oh, have you seen this new latest tool? It's gonna be so cool. And I'm thinking, well, are you actually gonna like use that for anything or not? Because I know he won't, because he hasn't worked on like any programming stuff in like 5 years. So I don't know why he's following it, because he's not gonna do anything with it. And then because I'm doing stuff with it, I know what I want. So I just kind of have to say like yeah, I remember he was telling me once, it's like, oh man, when Unreal 5 came out, he's like, are you gonna upgrade? And I said no, because I'm happy. Like Unreal 4's fine, like I'm happy with it, there's nothing wrong with it. And he's like, oh, but it's real easy, you just upgrade the project. And I'm thinking, have you actually tried doing that yourself? Like, you go do that and you tell me how easy it is. Because every time I've upgraded stuff, it's always broken. Every time. Even between minor versions. Even between 4.24 to 4.25 or something, it broke the wall running in my game. Like, Gabi's wall run broke. And that isn't even a major version. That isn't even from 4 to 5. That's from 4.27 to whatever. Like, it's a minor version change. And that broke. And it's like, that took a week to fix that. And it's like, what did I get from upgrading it? Nothing. But I just lost a whole week of time for no benefit. So it's like, I learned the hard way that I just don't think it's worthwhile. Like, I just don't want to waste my time with that. But then, yeah, I get asked all the time, like, oh, well, this new engine feature thing that and it's like, well, cool, but I don't want to, like, I don't care. Like, I've got way more tools than I need. I'm good. I'm fine. I don't need, you know, all that, like, with the nanite and stuff and lumen. I don't care about that. I don't need it. And I don't want it to look with, like, because there's then the argument of, like, you know, oh, well, you can make amazing looking games, and it's like, well, I'm not going for that look. I'm not going for the Unreal 5 look. I'm going for my own look, which I kind of, you know what I had to do, actually? Here's another little story. Hold on, let me just think about the name of this boat first. I'm gonna call this M. That's what I'm gonna call it. I think. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I actually had to go in, I think I showed this a few weeks ago, but I actually had to go in and deliberately take out, because a lot of people praise Unreal for its rendering, and it does look great, but to get the look I wanted, I actually had to disable a lot of the Unreal default, like, post-processing stuff. Like, I had to, because there was this weird thing, it was doing this weird thing where it was like, all my colors were wrong. Like, it had the cool bloom and everything, but when I tested, I put Gabi's model in just to test it, and her hair was a different shade of pink in the engine, and I'm like, oh, it's actually been a problem the whole time, and I only just noticed it then, and I was like, why is everything slightly different color? And it's because of this thing called tone mapping, where it's like a photorealistic thing where it's meant to make the camera act like a lens, which is great for photorealism, but I'm not doing photorealism. So the thing is that you can't disable it. Like, there's some settings you can turn off, but there's some other settings behind all that you can't actually disable in the editor. So I had to open the ini file and tell it to turn this off and stop doing this. And then I opened the editor back up, and then all my colors were correct, and it wasn't auto exposuring stuff anymore. And that was cool, and I was like, good, this is the way I want it. But a lot of people doing Unreal would not do that at all, because it's you know, why you think, well, why wouldn't you want it to look photorealistic? Are you crazy? And it's like, well, no, I just don't want that Unreal. Like, that's the Unreal look, and the Unreal look is good, but I think it's good if you want the Unreal look, if that's what you intend. If you don't intend it, that's when you end up with, you know, the Unreal look in games. Anyway, so that's why I just tune a lot of that out mostly. With, you know, I'm trying to think of other advanced things that I've heard of that, like, people have told me to do that I just don't want to. Like, well, yeah, like having like hair physics, inverse, or maybe IKs. That, like, IKs for the feet is something that's the farthest I think I would go. Like, that's the farthest. If anything more advanced than that, I'm probably not going to do it. Oh, sorry, chat was paused. Well, yeah, basically, yeah. And I don't want HDR and stuff, right, in my anime game, because anime doesn't have HDR. So that's why, yeah, I'll wait. What do we got here, boys? We got a bot. Whoa. Yeah, no thanks. Bye-bye. Can bots please go away? Go into ban world, buddy. Kablam. It's over for you. We don't want common filth radio, whatever it is. Wow, that's persistent. Damn. Well, it's been a while since we had a bot. It's kind of cool. I kind of miss when that would happen more. It's funny. Mr. Backslash is upgrading engines is like Russian roulette. Yeah. It's true. It's true, folks. Totally. So yeah, that's why, yeah, I usually just ignore anyone that says like, "Oh, you gonna upgrade?" And it's like, if I have to explain that to you, like it's over. Like no, I shouldn't have to explain that. Like I don't know. I mean, you'd think it'd be obvious, right? But maybe it isn't. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. Oh, another one. Unban him from. I don't care who the. I don't care. Go away, bots. I'm busy. I'm cooking. Okay. That's a different bot. I'm cooking. I'm busy cooking. Okay. Stop it. I don't care about unbanning whoever. I do not care. I care about naming this bone. If there is a bot that tells me what to name all my bones, I will welcome them with open arms. But until then, bots, you stay out. No droids. Got none of that. What do I want to name this bone? This has to be middle. This has to be back. That's what it has to be. Isn't that funny? The one time I decide to look at chat, it's just the bots all show up. It's like they know. It's like they've been watching the stream the whole time and they know. Okay, that's the right name. Another. What's going on? They're so persistent today. Okay. I gotta ban it by keyword. I'm gonna ban the word whatever this is. Give me a moment. So this is why I don't check chat, guys. Because look, now I have to take time away from my lovely rig to respond to Leafy is here archive. Come on, dude. We know you're not. At least try and look like the real Leafy, okay? Then I'd be kind of impressed. I'd think, wow, I can't believe Leafy has a passion for game development. But he's like, he doesn't even got the username right. Of course, if you put the name archive on it, it's obviously fake. Come on, man. I don't know how to add. I have to go into like my channel settings. Oh, I don't want to do that now. I have to like, because in Twitch, from what I remember, you can like add new keywords like really easily, but in YouTube you have to open like the YouTube studio and you have to go into channel. You know what? I'll try. I'll see if I can find it. You gotta add in like this, like the thing where it's like, ban keywords or something. So they all keep using the same phrase. So I will add to my block words list common filth, was it? They kept saying unban common filth, whoever the hell that is. Look, if he wants to get unbanned, why go in my chat? Just go to YouTube. Like, why are you talking to me? I don't have any contact. I have no connections. So I'll just ban those words. Okay. Now, I don't know if that'll actually work if I save it or if it only kicks in the next stream. No idea. Let's see. You know, I start to wonder whoever they're talking about. I wonder why he got banned. If all the bots are telling me about it, maybe, I don't know. Here's another one. Okay, now I've got the keyword in. Let's see if it actually works. Look, I don't want to disable chat, but you know what? You guys are smart enough not to click on stuff. I think I can. I don't want to shut down chat just because of these guys. If I can't get them all, just like, you know, that'll be like laughing stock content for chat for you guys to enjoy. But just, yeah, if you're young, just, yeah, do not click on their profile. Do not just smile and wave, boys. Just smile and wave. See, I know, I'm not even a big YouTuber, like what the hell? Like, how many people are even watching right now? It's like 100 people. Like, wow, they're accomplishing so much. Or if you're an older viewer and you're not very tech savvy, maybe. Sorry, I just assumed that as you grew up, Even if you didn't grow up with a computer, you just automatically got tech literacy. Sorry. But if you are on the older side as well, also, yeah, just don't be stupid. So here's my tips for young and old, less tech-savvy people, is don't click on bots and don't upgrade Unreal and don't use Nanite. That's my advice. 87-year-old... Well, I mean, I don't know, maybe they just like their anime. I have no idea. That'd be kind of cool, though. I am very curious to know who, like, the oldest person in my audience would be. That'd be interesting. My guess would be... someone clicking on my, like, some, like, 65-year-old accidentally clicking on my video is probably, like, in my analytics. That's what I imagine the oldest person would be and why they'd be there. That's just my guess. Oh, God, so my groove is all thrown. The bots threw off my groove. Now I don't know what I'm doing anymore. What are these bones for? I've completely lost my focus. Oh. I gotta do the Cusco dance now to get back in the groove. What was I doing? Yeah. So why streaming's hard as a game dev is that I'm not very great at multitasking. I can only really focus on one thing. Even though I'm an indie dev and do everything, it sounds like a big oxymoron, right? Because during my week, I'll do editing, I'll do modeling, I'll do programming and all. But when I'm doing that, I can only like do it like one at a time, you know? And bots throws a wrench into all of that. Well, hey, at least they weren't offering us a free girlfriend this time. That was at least, like, that was a bit too obvious. So at least they're trying to make it look like it's, well, I mean, they're not trying that hard, but at least they're trying a little bit to make it not obvious. You know what I mean? What did I think I've named these, right? Yeah, okay. Because I can't remember if I had named them. And now I gotta think about where I want to put these. Because what I want... What do I want? Burn there. I think these two, I want a bone to control those two strands. So, oh, thanks Timothy so much for the, let's see if I can figure out what currency that is this time. I'm gonna guess that's Canadian dollars, CA. Am I correct? You guys tell me. I haven't been to Canada, so I'm just assuming that's what a Canadian dollar looks like. But thanks so much, Tim. I appreciate that. You're awesome. That's now $5 more I can use to defend myself from the dating bots. Oh, thanks, Igor. Thank you. It's nice. Weirdly enough, yeah, it's actually, I kind of forget what it's like to get complimented sometimes. Because yeah, whenever I do, I don't check comments that much, but when I do, it's always someone telling me like, no, you can't model it like that. And then I'm like, should I explain to him or should I just not bother? And I just ignore it. So it's, thanks. It's nice to hear that. But I mean, yeah, like I remember in the earlier modeling streams, I kept asking, I said, guys, trust me. And then, well, hey, look at it now. See? So I remember there was a guy, there was some person that was in, it was like I want to say 3 months ago. I remember because this guy kept trying to like argue with the way I was doing, it might have been the face or the arms, I can't remember. But he kept trying to say, oh, I've worked on, he was trying to pull the experience card out and say, oh, I've worked on 20 games and this is not how you do it. And it's like, well, just shut up and like watch and see what happens. So he's gone now. It's a shame he didn't stick around because then he would have seen this. So I don't know, hopefully he finds it. But I guess he lost interest when I wasn't listening to him. It's a shame. Okay, do I want? No, why do I keep moving these? I don't want to, I keep like fidgeting with these because I'm just thinking about like, I'm thinking about the bots, god damn it. Hold on, let me make this again. I want it laid out like consistently, like this. All right, I'm getting back in the groove. I'm getting back in the groove. Groove is coming back. Do I use morph targets? I don't think so, no. So, and I guess my attitude towards features of what I will use because remember, I'm basing a lot of this on Arc System Works' workflow, and they used Adobe Softimage, which does not exist anymore. So I mean, even in Softimage, usually with these 3D programs, there's like, you know, there's equivalents. Like if it's called a morph target in Blender, it would be called as something else, but that thing would exist in Softimage, I'd imagine. But in the talks I read and everything, I didn't see a single mention of blend shapes or morph targets or anything. They just do everything with bones. And I'm like, well, if I want my characters to look like theirs, then I have to do everything with bones as well. Like, that there's probably a reason. Like, that's the thing I think about is with these guys, because the more I read about them, the more I realize that, oh wow, they really have thought of everything. So if they decide to not do something that I would maybe think, oh, why don't they, like, this seems obvious, why didn't they do that? For them, there's probably a reason. So they don't always explain it, and I guess that would be like, I mean, they wouldn't give away all their secrets now, would they? So I would have to just figure out on my own why they wouldn't do it. And the way I would have to figure that out is trying to use morph targets and seeing what would happen. And I don't have time for that. So when I see them do something with bones, and I would think, oh, well, I wouldn't do it that way. But usually their way is like better. So it's like, I'm just not going to question it, and I'm just going to follow exactly what they do. And I mean, that's worked so far, so I'm going to just keep doing that. Because, yeah, every time I've noticed that there's this thing that'll happen where every time I try to like go, oh, well, I think I should do it like this, and then I'll try it. It always ends up backfiring, like every time, for some weird reason. Like, it's always a very obscure reason that I could not have possibly thought of before. And it's like, oh, well, now I know that. It's like that, what's that meme where it's like, stick around long enough and find out? It's like that. So it's like, I have to decide how much I want to stick around, you know? How much I want to find out. Okay, how many? Okay, so let me just count because I gotta get in the zone. So I gotta see how many more bones do I want to use to control, and what do I want to control with what. So I know I want this strand to control the side, that one to control this one behind it, this one to control those two. Oh wait, that won't work. No. Now that I'm paying attention, I realize that this will not yield the result I want. Because I thought these were two separate strands, but they're the same. So I have to think how I want to handle that. I think what I'll need is this and these. Like these two will have to be controlled by that one. And then this one will have to... I should move that... further back. Like there. So that... Oh, but that's only one strand. Do I really need a bone for just that one? Maybe. Sure. We'll put that in, and then we'll have one for the back. So this will be the back of the head. So this will be hair, instead of S, it'll just be straight up hair B. And we don't need to symmetrize this because this is going straight down the middle. I'm just gonna change what music I've got. Give me a moment. Face rigged. We don't have the hair rigged yet. That's the idea. And no, we're not doing physics. Well, yeah, I'm gonna stop repeating myself. All right, so I want this in the middle. Well, yeah, weirdly enough, because I think I mentioned this as well a few weeks ago, but I think with... I think this is in the GDC talk. There's a Q&A at the end where there's some guy asking about the workflow and how long it takes, and I think what Arc System Works will do, they'll have one guy doing the entire model, and that'll take like 2-3 months. And then they'll actually have another person do the rig. I don't know. I know that they have another person do the animations, but I don't know if that person also does the rig or if it's the other artist. But that rigging will take about like 2 weeks or 3 weeks for them. And they actually have it much harder than this too, because like I was showing earlier, like they have a lot of like, they have all of these like baggy clothes. So like the pant legs, the skirt, they have to rig all of that as well. Which I don't have to do. So I've actually got it easier because Gabi has very like tight clothes. But if I was doing something like this where it had like, you know, because if you look between frames, you'll see like bits of it will all move because I have to rig like every, like it's crazy. Like those straps, think about that. Think about each one of these straps having bones on them. So yeah, so I'm never gonna have straps on my characters. I'm never gonna do that, I don't think, just because Jesus Christ. So yeah, this is actually a lot easier than the Arc System characters, because I only have to do the body and the hair and the face, but they have to do like twice as much. So they probably would take even longer than me, I think, to do all that. So yeah, but you know, if you want it to look good, you gotta put in the work. You can't just chuck it in mixer mode. Okay, I think I haven't thought about the front yet. The side, I think I'm good. Like there's a bone that controls this strand, that strand, that strand, and that strand. Could I consolidate these a little? I don't know fully, but I might consider consolidating these two into just one. But I'm not 100% sure if that will cause, like, if I want. It'll really, it's really hard to say, because I need to, like, imagine it moving to see how that would go. Because this one is going to control 2 strands, and then there's a separate one for the back. I think I would want that separate, because then I can use that to curl it upwards and create definition in the silhouette. So maybe I'll leave that one alone. But let's get to the front. Because the front's going to be a little, well, there's going to be a few bones that are symmetrical and then some that won't be. So there's going to be a strand for this, for these like bits that come in on the cheek. Like that. And I should name these. So this is now front, middle, because then front, like the real front. Well, actually, this would be front, front as well, I guess, because it's like the only other one would be in the middle, which is not going to need symmetry. So that would, I should shorten that a little bit. Because this one is going to control that little, like, ringlet. Oh. So that's gonna control the bit that comes around like that, and that's on both sides. Okay, that looks alright. And then we'll have, I think, because there's kind of 2 strands with the front, because there's the bit that's sort of more grouped, and then there's this one that kind of sticks out. It's like, do I want that as a separate thing? I think I do, actually, because that, depending on how we pose stuff, like if I have the face contorted a certain way, some of that might clip, but it only might be one piece of it. So maybe having a separate bone for like that strand would be good. So this would be front. Is this just front? Oh, maybe, no. I was gonna say left, but I gotta be careful. If I want to use the name left in something that isn't symmetrized, yeah, I don't want to do that. Because if you do that, it'll like try and like mirror the weights, which I don't want in this case. But yeah, this strand's a bit different than the others because it has a bit of a... I'll try and get it to kind of follow where the mesh is. Like that. Oh. Because I'm trying to think about these pivots as well. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna just turn on vertex snapping. That'll be easier. Because I want the rotating, like where it rotates from, to be at where these vertices. I want them to line up, especially for this piece, because it's gonna be at the front, so it's gonna be important. And then I think then there's just that last one here. Oh. Oh, come on. Come on. There we go. Now what I should do to get this to actually to bend in all the right spots for this strand, what I'm going to do, I'm going to center the bones to be in the middle of the strand on this. I'm just going to do it on this one for the moment, because I know that this one, I will absolutely, this will be final, this one. The other ones might need changing up a little, but this one I know for sure is going to stay. So when I use the 3D, so I'm selecting these vertices, telling the 3D cursor to go into the middle, and then I'm telling this bone to go to the 3D cursor. So it's like, it's in the center of the mesh for that area. That's the idea. Oh, I don't want to do selection. Oh, selection to cursor, and then, yep, cursor to selected. And there we go. So, and then I'll just take off the roll, because I noticed that when I leave the, if I have the roll at something other than 0, it tends to mess about. So I'll get rid of that. And then for the other, because those front strands are probably going to be, they're going to be a bit particular. But I think the ones at the sides, because it's just a straight, it's pretty straightforward on how those will work. They just sort of, you know, it's just sort of, because here the topology, you get like gaps and divots and stuff. It gets a little bit more more complex, where the back is a bit more uniform. So what I'll do, I'll save that. Do I want to symmetrize this now? I think I do, yeah. Or maybe not, because I think what I've learned, because the issue we're going to have now is because this already has an armature. Oh, actually, I don't think it does have an, no, it does have an armature modifier on it. Because the hair already has an armature modifier, it already has vertex groups. Actually, now that I say that out loud, oh, do we want to try our luck with auto weights? Oh, because we could actually in this case, specifically because the hair is only mapped to one bone. If it was the body, it'd be a different story, because it's already got all of the vertex groups and the armature modifier and stuff. So if you add more bones at this point, you have to manually go in and add the vertex group name to the vertex group list. The thing is that you can do that and symmetrize it later by having the bones. Like, you can make the bones on one side and weight paint it, and then you can symmetrize the bones and then just go to the vertex groups and make copies of all of the vertex groups and just change the letter to R, and it'll actually mirror them. So that's something I learned doing the mouth. For the hair though, we can actually go even simpler, because this only has we could actually like just what's the word I'm looking for? We could make the hair, we could do it separate and start and have no, we could like do the weights from 0, because this is only mapped to the head only, and we can easily get rid of that. I'm wondering if I should try it though, because if we try doing it and then go parent auto weights, who knows what'll happen. I'm a little terrified, but I am also a bit curious. So to do that, what I will do is, the hair is already a separate mesh, but I will separate these bones to their own. We can combine these later, because I know how to do that now. Because I don't want the other bones getting influenced by the hair. So we're going to turn off her body and her ear. And we're just going to focus on her hair. And we're going to take the hair bones I just made and just separate them into their own rig. And we'll generate a rig for these, and then weight paint it, and then later we can combine it. I just don't want the bones from the face to get involved with what I'm about to do, so we're gonna quarantine it off so that we don't have, because I don't want like the eyebrow to have weights on the hair, and all that, and there's a lot of bones in the face nearby, so I want it to bear no influence whatsoever. So I think, let me just check, I think that's all of them. So I'll go separate. So now those are on their own, so I can get rid of... It is also kind of neater too, because now I don't have all those other extra bones. I can just look at these only, which is organized. Very cool. And then I can go here, get rid of the armature modifier, get rid of the vertex groups, because I can easily add that back. That's just one bone. It's easy to redo if I need to, which I shouldn't need to. And then I can go to... Ooh, yeah, so I parent it and go automatic weights. Oh, no, I don't want to do that bit. No, this is the meta rig. I don't want to do that bit yet. I want to generate a new Rigify rig for that, which will, it's basically going to be the same, but it has the controllers. And then that'll have deformed bones like this on it. So now we then automatic weights. Oh wait, no, did I do that right? I didn't do that right. Gotta select that first. Automatic. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see what it does. If any, it might not do anything. Come on, weight paint. Weight paint, where are you? There we go. Oh, it's not bad. Not bad. We can work with this. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's try posing it with auto weights just to see what it's done. Because who knows? Also, before I proceed, I should set these to the right layer, because these are on like 10 different layers right now. I think I should have done this at the beginning. I forgot to do this at the start, but I gotta just put them all on the one layer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to each bone and tell it what layer I want it. I totally forgot to do that. I should have done that when I made the first bone, but I forgot. Oh well. Can auto weight specific bones? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, we've got some auto weights now. But I will have to manually adjust stuff anyway, so... Unless... No, I should... Okay, let's see, have a look at the parent. Okay, those are all on the right layer. I just gotta get those. Alright, now those will only show up on the one layer. So I'll regenerate. Because it was on like 10 layers before. There we go, that's better. So now I just turn this on and off. I can toggle between the deform bones and the control bones, which are kind of the same right now, but they might change later. So if we take the deform, oh, yeah, I knew, yeah. Oh, this is a certified auto weights moment. Look at that. Yeah, that's gonna need some work. That's gonna need a lot of work. Gonna need a lot of work. Okay. Oh, I mean, it's like, there's some that's okay, but no, this ain't it, Chief. Oh no, look at what it's done. Look at, oh yeah, okay. Oh. That's something. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, it's kind of funny. Not gonna lie, it's kind of funny. This is okay. I just don't like that it's taking the other strand next to it with it. And what else? Oh yeah, this is gonna need work. Oh yeah, like it's pulling a lot with it. All right, let's get to work. I mean, luckily, this is going to be easier than the old hair, which I will close this now. We don't need this. But yeah, this is still going to need some juicing. Exactly how my hair works. I mean, we aren't going for realism here, remember guys. We're not going for realism where the hair actually gets tangled. It's not what we're going for. I mean, that'd be... Oh my god, imagine trying to do my hair in this. God damn. I used to get kind of angry that games wouldn't have curly head characters, and now I don't care anymore. Like, I don't want them doing curly head characters. It's just so painful. Like, I totally get it. It's like, yeah, guys, keep doing like the Final Fantasy hair. It is literally so much easier. Like, I feel so bad for anyone that does curly hair models. Like, it's so hard. So I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. Okay, so I'm just, luckily, because I've got this like neatly topologized, I can go through row by row and do what I want with this. So I'm gonna do what I've been doing for everything else on the model and just incrementing through by, like, you know, how much influence something should have. So I feel like what should happen for this middle bone is that by the time it gets... Oh, actually, what do I want? That should start... No, that should be way tapered off by this point. Where it gets to the end of that little bit, that should be like a very light blue. So this should be like 0.05. And that should be 0.1. That should be like 0.2. And that should be like 0.3. Or 0.4, maybe 0.3. Like that. I think. I'm just gonna eyeball what I think looks right, and then we'll find out. You know what? We should start at the top, actually. I shouldn't be starting from the bottom. I should be starting from the top. So we'll take that whole top area and just remove anything. Remove. Because we only want it to, like, start influencing from, like, a certain level. So I've actually tried to topologize it into, like, those groups. So there's, you know, like, equator lines, like, on the map? That's sort of what I've got here. I've got my own, like, equator lines of where the hair influence should begin. So it should, you see this line? Nothing should influence above that line. So that's my rule. Anyway, so this is going to be a bit repetitive. How are you guys doing? How's everyone? Sorry, I haven't been as... I've just had a lot to do. How's well, we're like a few weeks now into the new year. Has everyone accomplished their entire life goals in the new year yet? That'd be poggers. I want that to be 0.5 influence. I should add Skivity Toilet to the game. Well, here's the thing. Is like, okay, so Skivity Toilet, is that like an actual IP? Or is that just like a meme? Because if it's an IP, I'm gonna have to like write a letter to Skibidi Toilet's Skibidi lawyer and ask him for Skibidi license agreement for Skibidi Toilet and see what he says. But if he doesn't, if it's not like at that status, then, you know. Because can you IP something out of a head in a toilet? That's the question we gotta ask ourselves. Can that be registered in the trademark office? We don't know. I mean, maybe someone... I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. But if it's one of those things where it's like anyone could come up with it, and you can, like, it's derivative as hell, and yeah, we could actually do Skibidi Toilet. But if I'm gonna get a Skibidi lawsuit because of it, then, well, we gotta be careful there. We gotta get permission. or what, or I don't know, pay whatever amount. And if it costs like more than, I don't know how much those typically would cost for something like Skibidi Toilet. But if it costs anything, it's probably over budget, so it's probably, yeah, probably not. It isn't it? Oh, is it an actual? Let's search the American trade. I'm pretty sure this is an American thing, right? I'm kind of curious now. Is Skibidi Toilet registered in the United States Patent Trademark Office? Let's find out. Let's go. Yeah, look, I've been looking into this stuff for completely unrelated reasons, so don't be alarmed that I know what the IPO is. And that page is taking forever to open. Jesus. I cannot open the United States Patent website. It's just taking forever. Does it not want me? Okay, I just want to check the register. What's the deal? It's just okay, it's not loading. I'm gonna let that load. Site can't be reached. Oh, that's, wow. Great job, America. That's great. That's awesome. Well, now I don't know something. One of you will have to check. I can't get into the American Trademark Office website. You're gonna have to, one of you in Los Angeles is gonna have to do it for me. I must be too far away for the servers. The CIA, I'm too far away from the CIA, I can't do it. Typus has been having fun in VR. Nice. I'm not big of VR connoisseur myself, so I hope that it's cool in there. Hope that everything's okay. I get too sweaty. That's literally, and yeah, they cost, well, they're a lot cheaper now, I think. I think the last one I last had a VR to get like one of those headsets was like $1,500 or something, and I was like, yeah, that's a no from me. But I don't know, I mean, that was like 5 years ago, so I guess it's gotten cheaper. Oh yeah, and I gotta make sure that these other strands don't have influence on them. So I gotta select these vertices and just get rid of that influence. Just get it out of there. Is it? It is? Oh. Sorry boys, no Skibidi Toilet. If I say Skibidi Toilet, is that gonna be a trademark? Am I violating the trademark by saying the word Skibidi Toilet? Because there are, I know there are different classes, right? Can you actually trademark like saying it? Because I know, you know, like in movies, where they have like, if you say a brand name, you could get in trouble. You know that? I don't know if you guys know, but that's like, if you have like if you show like an iPhone in a movie, there are specific brand guidelines you must follow to have an iPhone in a single scene. And I think one of them is like the bad guy can't be using an iPhone. Like that's an actual rule. But if you were to just say the word iPhone, would that be under the same? Is that under the same rules and guidelines, or is just showing the product? Because if that rule carries down to like saying it, you know how like people get YouTube striked for whistling a song? Like if it covers that, am I gonna get IPO'd for? Am I gonna get copy strike for saying a trademark out loud? Because I from what I understand, what I'd imagine it's classified under, among many things, is probably like the word Skibidi Toilet, because that's a classification. There's also classifications for like cutlery, t-shirts and like homeware, backpacks and travel wear, digital like video games. There's a lot. So if you're registering a trademark for something, you actually, if you want to like do more than just one thing with it, like if you're writing a book like Harry Potter, if you're writing the next Harry Potter and you want to like trademark it, you actually have to not just trademark the name Harry Potter. If you want to actually make money and like have books, like the covers of the books and like Harry Potter towels or Harry Potter pop vinyls or Harry Potter bowls, which I have for some reason in my kitchen. I have a bowl with like Harry Potter like on it, or you know, like Harry Potter, like a Harry Potter mouse pad. You actually have to go to the trademark office and register Harry Potter under all of those different classes. So that's like, that could be like 20 different trademarks for each of those classes. Because if you don't do that, then someone else with, let's say you've got the book Harry Potter, but then you've got like a furniture company called Harry Potter, like it's the same name. They actually could register that trademark because if you're not doing furniture, they could register it as well because you're not competing in the same field. So you can have two things named the same. That's why you've got like Dove soap, and then there's like another brand called Dove as well. That's like, I don't remember what the other one is, but it's also called Dove. But they can both be called Dove because they're in different classes. But if Dove wanted to do, soaps like the Dove we know, then, well, the other guys got it registered first, so game over. That's actually, Purple says a licensing law for merchandising requires a trademark holder's approval. In a merchandising agreement, yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah, Dove chocolate, that's it. See, I don't know if we have Dove chocolate in Australia, so I don't know if I would have heard of Dove chocolate. Let me actually look up Dove chocolate. Yeah, I do. Oh, maybe I have seen this actually. Yeah, no, okay, I know Dove chocolate. I guess I did think they were the same brand for a while. That's interesting. But yeah, no, Skibidi toilets, we can't do it. Someone's trademarked it, it's gone. It's actually over. We can't have, here we go a step further now. What about just the word Skibidi? Can we take that? Can we claim that at least? That's the question. If Skibidi as a prefix to something else, if that's if that's allowed, then maybe we could do something. But if it's specifically the word Skibidi followed by the word toilet, then yeah, nah. But if Skibidi is like a brand, like just like a parent brand, like if there's going to be Skibidi toilet, Skibidi coffee, Skibidi whatever, Skibidi burgers, like if that's what it turns into, then no one can use the word Skibidi unless it's in a non-competing field, like Skibidi chocolate, Skibidi soap. Someone's probably done that. Like, if I've thought of it, someone's done it already, probably. So we might not be able to get that one either. Skibidi sanitary device, yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking about the trademark office now. I gotta get me weights going. So this bone, we need weights going through this middle bit. On my now I feel so compelled just to preface every word with the word Skibidi. Here I am doing my Skibidi weight paints with my Skibidi vertices. God, that's mark my words. When Gen Alpha grows up, that's gonna be their like they're gonna talk like that. That's gonna be how it is. In 2028, that's gonna be mark my words, guys. It's gonna happen. You're gonna have your Skibidi iPhone. Okay. I'm just trying to I'm trying to do these in like stages where it's like each line has a different level of influence. So this line, it's a bit hard to see because it clips into another piece of the hair, but I think this one would be like 0.7. And then, yeah, this one, the one in the middle here needs to be stronger. 0.8. There we go. How long did it take to make a trailer? Oh, I would not call it a trailer, but it took like a few days. But I would very loosely call that a trailer. An actual trailer, I would have put in way more work. I would have put in like a month to do an actual good trailer. Those are more, because I've made a few of those, and I didn't make them to be trailers. I think I made them because when I was doing like the grant saga, when I was doing grant submissions, I needed to have videos of like to send. Like I needed to submit video footage. So I just put them on the channel because I thought, well, maybe someone else will think this is cool. And then people think that they're trailers now, so I guess it's maybe they're not, because they were just rough edits, but it's like, well, people think they're trailers, maybe they're not so bad. But yeah. But no, I think an actual trailer would, yeah, it's weird. You can actually, there is a lot to trailer making that people don't really realize. You would, like, if I was actually going to have a serious go at a trailer, which it's kind of soonish, I think. Not very soon, but that's coming, it's getting up there in the priority list. But what I would do is, you know, you'd have to like plan out what shots you want, how you want it to go, like feel what the pace is. Like you would sort of storyboard it maybe. Like even if it's just gameplay, you would probably like have a storyboard of like, this is how it has to go. You'd have the music picked out already. You'd have like how long it is. And I didn't do any of that for those videos. I just kind of like threw a bunch of footage together and thought, oh yeah, it's all right. But to do like a good trailer, like what's the guy's name? There's some guy that like talks about this a lot. And he's like a professional editor for like trailers. And yeah, he'll like do a comparison of like, this is their rough cut versus the final trailer. And there's like a huge difference. Because yeah, you actually have to put in lots of thought into it, which I have not done in my ones yet. Like my one is just like, I had an afternoon. And this is what I, you know, or like a few days. And that's like the best I could do in that time. Is it going to have a 2D animated opening? Oh, I wish. That would be cool, but honestly, I'm going to be real. I don't think I'll have time or the budget for that, because do any of you know how expensive a second of animation, of traditional animation is? Not from like some Twitter artist, but like from an actual, like a professional. Like it's, it can get expensive if you want it done like really good. And I feel like if you go that route, I don't know if that's something you want to cheap out on. If it's going to be your trailer, and if it's going to have like an animated 2D opening, you maybe don't just DM some random on Twitter that can draw. Maybe like, you know, that might be something you don't want to cheap out on. That's just my intuition. So I don't know. I can't say I would want to go down that route. I would love to if everything went perfectly and it was cheap, absolutely. But that's a project. That's like that's a lot of work. It'd be awesome. I wish. It'd be so cool. But it would also, yeah, it would just take a lot of time. It might pay off though. That's the thing, is that maybe it will pay off. And I don't know. It might. But I just don't know. So Zoo says you got to see a budget for a handful of animated music videos. Yeah, oh yeah. They can get quite up there. Out of curiosity, what was like the general range? Because I haven't talked to animation studios to ask this stuff. I just assume it's at least 10 grand. That's just, at least. That's my guess. Maybe 30. That's just my ballpark guess. But I've done no data. I got nothing to back me up there, so I don't know. What is that kind of in the ballpark? You tell me. That's just, if I had to guess, that's what it would be. 20,000. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, about 20k for like 3 minutes. Have I thought about getting a publisher? Yeah, and I don't think I want to do it. I put a lot of research and thought into that road, but I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like it's for me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like I'm meant to do it. I feel like I'm meant to just self-publish. I know that sounds very cryptic and very, you know, it sounds very crazy, but I don't know. I don't know. Here's the thing about publishers. I haven't worked with them, and I kind of don't want to if I can help it, because I'm just basing off other people's experience, because I've sat around and listened, and I've tried to gather lots of data and stories. So I don't have any of my own experience, and the thing is that I've learned that you can't really know something until you do it yourself, I found, and you have to kind of get your own experience. But that experience can come at a cost. And it's like, you have to decide, do I want to have my own experience to base this on? And it might be really negative, or do I want to just not go near it and not risk that? Because if you decide that you want to see for yourself, that might end up costing you a lot. And I'm already taking enough risks as it is. So it's like, I think I just want to stick to what I know. I don't think that's a bad idea. I'm just thinking, for me specifically, what you got to think about is most indie developers don't have any PR experience. And technically, neither do I. I don't have any qualifications in anything. I don't have a 3D model. I don't have a degree in anything. I don't have a programming or modeling. Nothing. I'm just all self-taught. The thing is most other indie devs, at least that I know, can program, and that's it. They don't know how to get interest. They don't know how to market. They don't know how to make trailers. They don't know how to, like, something I would think is obvious that is easy, like editing a video, is actually not so easy. And this might sound obvious to everyone else, but to me, I just assumed that everyone knew how to edit videos because it comes to me. I've been doing it since I was 12 years old. So, oh yeah, you just drag a clip, get the audio, add the music, like, it's easy. But like, you know, then I talk to my mom and she's like wanting to make like a little promo thing for her album launch, and she doesn't know how to drag in a clip, and it's like, oh, like, so this is an actual skill. Like, not everyone knows this stuff. Okay, so in that case, if you don't know that, and there's more to it than just knowing how to edit. Like, there's like a sense you pick up of like what will get interest and what won't, and what is good. Like, it's a taste you pick up. And if you don't do any of that and you just do programming, you're not going to have a taste for any of that stuff. Like, you pick up like your own taste of like what I think would look cool, right? So the reason all of you are here on my channel and stuff is that with my videos, as I kept doing them, I developed an idea of, oh, this would make a fun video. Like, this would be interesting. This would get attention. But if you haven't done that, then you won't know what, you don't, like, you'll make something and it'll get like 10 views. Like, you won't know how to get it more than that. And those are the skills I have. And I think from what I've seen, because a lot of people have said, oh, you know, having a publisher was great for marketing. Like, they helped us do our trailer and our Steam. Like, literally, one thing I remember seeing was, oh, they did our Steam page for us. You know how easy a Steam page is? Like, that's the thing that blew my mind, is that, you know, even with Screen Australia, they actually did offer to do my Steam page for me. Like, as if that's hard or something. Like, that was kind of weird. Like, that threw me off a bit. And then it made me realize that publishers also do that as well. Like, they'll go, oh yeah, we'll do the graphics and everything, but I can do that. So it's like, why would I delegate that if I can do it already? Like, I think it makes sense to delegate it if you can't do it. Like, if the best you can do is like a screenshot of your game and then like aerial for like the Steam page, if that's the best you can do, then yeah, maybe delegate it. But if you can do better than that, then yeah, you got to think, because you got to remember with publishers is that everything they get you to help with is going to cost you, because they take that out of your revenue or whatever the agreement you have. Like, that comes out of recouping expenses. So the more you get them to do, the more expenses you have to recoup them for, and the less money you get. And I think the tricky thing I'm working out is that I don't think there's a right way. I think that's rubbish when people say that, oh, you have to do you got to do it that way. Like, that's the way you're meant to do it. I think that's rubbish, because I've seen plenty of people self-publish and do way better than people with publishers. And if you pay attention to those people, you start to work out why. Because some people, the thing I hate is when people think it's luck. They say, oh, he just got lucky. It's like, no, he wasn't lucky. He was smart and he paid attention. That's what happened. Because I'm trying to remember. Because, well, here's the thing. I'll tell you a little story. Because I've been reached out to by publishers quite a few times, and what turns me off instantly is when I haven't heard of them. That's the first thing. The second thing that turns me off is if I look up their game catalogs and they have like less than like 100 reviews, something like that, right? Or if I search up their game and it isn't even charting on most wishlisted. Like, if it isn't showing up on the charts, and mine is, it's like, if one of their games is not showing up there, then it's like, well, are they really that good then? If they can't even get to the top 1,000 wish lists. Like, if I can do that, which I have, I'm in there in like the top 1,000 with like two, you know, not a lot of work. I mean, it was work, but it isn't as much as I thought it would be, right? And it's like, well, if I can do that, what do I need him for, you know? Because a lot of them can't do that. So that's something you got to think about as well. And the thing is the point I'm trying to get to is, like, for some people, I think they will need that help and they will benefit. And like, personality wise too, it'll work. But then there's other types of people like me, and I think I've tried to narrow my search research wise to not look at every indie game, but only to look at indie games of people that were made by people like me. And what I mean by that is they have a similar temperament, like a similar psychological makeup, which is hard to determine. But if you pay close enough attention to someone, you can kind of get a feel for like, oh, okay, I think you know, you look at someone and say, I think I can kind of see a bit of me in him, you know? A lot of the time with people that work with publishers though, like I look at games that have a publisher backing and I look at the people and I think I cannot see myself in that. Like that's what I, you know, that's what I see. I see, oh, this is that person. This person is not me. So I cannot do the way this guy did it. But then I'll find someone else and it's like, oh, this person is kind of like me. So if that works for him, then that will work for me as well. And yeah, it takes work and everything, but I think the people that self-publish, just that do it successfully, they're like willing to put in that extra work and they understand how much extra work that is and they will do it and they reap the rewards. And I think the people that I've seen say that, oh yeah, no, you need a publish. It's the people that like don't actually get how much, like what they have to do and they assume it just happens. Like there was a guy I knew who launched a game and he didn't do any marketing work at all. He did nothing. It was literally, and I remember asking him about this, like this was like 2 weeks. There was no tweets, no YouTube video, no nothing. And it's like, he's gonna launch in 2 weeks. And I said, dude, you haven't told anyone that you're launching in 2 weeks. And you know what he said to me? He said, oh, well, it's such a niche genre, they'll just find it. And I'm like, says who? What do you mean they'll just find it? Are you crazy? And then he launched and it flopped. Just like I predicted it would, because he didn't, like, I guess they just don't know that you have to, like, tell people. So the thing is for me, is that I know that. So it's like, all right, well, I already know this, so maybe I don't need to delegate to someone else that just is, like, yeah, that'll be their sole focus, but if it's something I already know, you know, like, that's one factor. That isn't everything, but it's just one thing. One factor into it is, like, if I'm capable of doing this myself, I should do it myself. That's my attitude anyway. The thing is, this is where it gets to like personality. Because the more I look at game dev advice, the more I find that it really depends on you. Because like not every game dev is made equal. What will work for some devs will not work for others. And I think for a publisher, you have to be very personable and very like, you have to be nice. Like you have to be a kind of person that's really easy to get on with. And I don't think that's me. I just know it isn't really me. I think I'm too strong-willed. Like I'm too, what's the word? I don't know. I'm too disagreeable, I think. Because if I don't like something, I will argue. And I will say, no, you explain this, what is going on? And I've learned from Schoon Australia that people don't like that. So it's like, all right, well, I'll just do my thing then. And that's my plan. But this is just my plan. I don't know what will happen. I can't say that that's like, who knows what the future holds, but that's my attitude at it at the moment, seeing as you asked. And I think I feel very kind of like comfortable sharing it because I know who I am. Like with all the challenges I've put up with development, I kind of have a better idea on like what I can put up with, like what I'm okay putting up with and what I'm not okay with putting up with. And I think things with publishers, there's a lot I probably don't even know, but just from what I can imagine with like let's say you want to like put something, let's say you want to make a trailer, and you have an idea on how you want the trailer to look, but then the marketing guys like disagree with you, and maybe they're right, but maybe you know like what you want, like really, like you really know what you want, and they're going to disagree with you on it. Like that is a lot of email back and forth fighting. And it's like, do I want to put up with that? It's like, I kind of don't. Like me personally, I don't. Someone else might, and that's great for them. If they're good fighting those battles, or maybe they approach it differently where they don't fight the battles at all and they just are very hands off and they go, well, I'll just let them do whatever and I will accept whatever they give me. But I'm not like that. I've learned I'm not like that. I don't accept. If something I don't like is in there, I won't just accept it for getting along. I don't do that for the sake of getting along with people. I will like bring it up and say, hey, no, this isn't right. I want it like this. And I've just noticed from experience that people don't like that. So it's like, okay, well, that's how it is. Anyway. Well, yeah, I guess uncompromising is a good way to put it. Because the thing is that I've been told I'm wrong about this before. I've been told that I should compromise, but every time I've listened, it has not worked for me. It has worked for other people, but it has not worked for me. Like whenever I'm told, like I mentioned this a little bit last stream, where I said, You know what? I'm just going to move on to this other strand of hair because I'm going to fixate too much on this one. But what was I saying? So, you know, because I've had people like tell me that, and because I get a lot of advice, I get a lot of comments, a lot of unsolicited advice, and every so often I'll take it and I'll go, you know what? This person's being nice and trying to help. I'll follow their advice, see what happens. But the thing is, you know, I'm at the stage now where I can only really listen to specialized advice because a lot of the general, you know, like when you're first doing something, you can kind of just follow any tutorial and you'll be fine. But as you keep going, eventually you'll have to narrow down and focus, and a tutorial that might work one way might not work for you or something. Like, it's sort of like that. So when I hear people give their stories on how they made it into the scene or whatever, I don't look at the advice anymore. I look at who's saying it, and I look at, okay, well, what makes them, because part of what makes that advice work is them. It isn't the advice, it's the person. And it works when you have the right person with the right advice. That's what I found. And then you get those two to work, and then that'll work for that person. But I think the mistake is thinking that'll work for everyone. That's where it gets like complicated, because a lot of it, yeah, again, it comes down to like personality, which is a bit terrifying. But I do believe, at least for the people around like that I used to teach and stuff, especially younger people, is that they don't know who they are yet. So they get affected the most. And I was like this too. Like when I was like 16, I had a real tough time trying to filter out what to listen to, because I was getting bombarded with so much like, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this. And it's like, I didn't like, if you're like 16 and your brain isn't fully there, you don't really have a personality yet, how are you gonna know? And that's why you kind of just have to bumble around. So I did that, and now that I'm a bit older, it's like, okay, well, I have a good idea on what will work for me. But as for the mileage for everyone else, I don't know. You kind of have to work it out on your own, I think. And that's kind of the fun bit too, actually, because you know what's really fun is when you kind of like, you figure that out, and then at a glance you can instantly tell what is like good for you. Like you get to the stage where you know yourself so well that someone will suggest something, and in a millisecond you can say, oh yeah, that'll work for me, or it won't. Like, that to me is so great. But it takes a long time to get to that. You have to really gotta test yourself. Anyway, it's a big topic. It's a very long answer to that question, but that's sort of my attitude about it. If a cool one comes along that meshes well with me, then that's cool. Then maybe I'd consider it. But it has to pass through all my filters, and I have those filters there for a reason. So for instance, you know, if they spell my name wrong, instant no. Like, come on. I think that should be an easy one. But I have had people tell me, it's like, oh, Ray, come on, like, just give them a chance. It's just a spelling mistake. And it's like, no, if they can't even do that, I guarantee you it's gonna be all over from that point. Like, if that's the step one and they get step one wrong, it's like, nah, it's hopeless. That's what I found anyway. So that's one of my filters. You know, it's like, can they spell? Can they punctuate this email without any mistakes? If so, you got my attention. If not, rubbish. Like, just put them in the bin. Because that's so easy. It's so easy to spell and get something right like that. And it's like, if they choose to ignore it, ooh, that's a signal to me. And then there was something else I was going to say about that. I totally forgot. There was something else about all of that. Oh yeah, it's leverage. Here's another thing that I've kind of picked up on, is that because I'm trying to find more success stories, but those aren't very common. So I'm kind of listening more to negative stories with publisher-wise. So I'll try and go out and look for, you know, the worst. Because that tends to be what happens, like, most of the time. And I found that a lot of the time it's people that are like, you know, 21, and they have no idea like what's going on. And a publisher knows that, and they go, hey, this person doesn't really know what they're doing. Let's kind of take it over. And there was some, I don't know what game it was, but there was some story. It might have been called like Outbound Ghost or something. I don't know if this is the right game. It might have been Outbound Ghost, and then the guy had like, it was a solo dev, he was like young, he had signed with a publisher and they made him launch it way too early, and he kept telling them like it's not ready, and the publisher was like, yeah, well, too bad, you're launching now. So he went and told everyone like, don't buy it, it's not done, it's not to the standard I want, don't buy it, and he like tried to boycott his own game. Now I don't know the full story, because this was a while, I looked this up ages ago, so I'll have to reread it. I don't remember every detail, but I remember just looking at that and going, man, I did not want to be in that situation. Like, Jesus Christ. And then I think, well, how did that even come about? And it's probably what I think, my guess. It's probably like, well, if it's your first title, like me, because this is my first real thing, then you don't know what you don't know yet. You don't know, it's a lot you don't know. And you don't understand. And I think the publishers try and do that, and they say, hey, look, there's a lot you don't know, so we'll take care of it. And yeah, but you have to trust them. And if you can't trust them, because they have a lot more power than you. So it's like, unless they're above board and like they really, you can like kind of basically guarantee that they have no motive to do something, like to pull something like that on you. Like, then that's good. But for me, I don't know, like, I think publishers would know that I'm inexperienced and would want to take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm inexperienced, but I'm not stupid. And I think a lot of them will think, oh, well, like the Screen Australia grant, not to bring, I know I keep bringing this up today, but that was a really illuminating experience. And I know it wasn't a publisher agreement, but it is similar in the sense that it was dealing with a body bigger than you, that has more control than you, that, because the thing that was interesting about that is that they said that this is targeted at smaller studios. And when I read that, I was like, raised an eyebrow for me, because it's like, huh, that's interesting. It's almost like the people that they will catch with this will not really know what questions to ask. So they might just read through whatever. Like I would, just in an abstract sense, logically, people who are less experienced would ask less questions, I think. Or they would question less because, you know, it's a bit overwhelming to do. Like, you would want to just trust someone and let them do it. That's how I used to be, right? But I think if you're dealing with someone that kind of knows stuff, if you're not dealing with an emerging studio, they are going to have their own, they're going to kind of know when something isn't right. And a person like me is not going to know. So the thing is that I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm gonna there's things I cannot pick up on, and it's like, well, do I want to go fight in that arena where I have fog of war on, essentially? And it's like, well, if I can help it, no. If it can be helped. And yeah, that's another factor. There's a lot of factors, but those are the key ones, I think. Anyway, yeah, it's a lot. Sorry for rambling. But I don't know, because then there's guys I see that self-publish and they do like actually better than people I've seen with publishers. And the pattern, because I study these people, and the pattern I notice is that they all have things in common, and a lot of the time it's just, you know, they have confidence. That's kind of it. Like, that's kind of the main thing, is that they just have confidence. They have consistency, they have a good work ethic, and they do the work. And that's like, I don't really see how much more you would need than that. So, you know. Realm says, hope you don't get a job at Activision and Blizzard. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, like, I don't know. I think the thing is too, is that I think when I started this like ages ago, the plan was like, I didn't think it would go very far and I would just use it to get hired. But I don't know, man. I don't think I want to do that. Like, the industry here is kind of dry anyway, so like basically my city is just, it's gambling companies, like that's it. So it's like, I don't know. I don't really want to get involved in that. All right, I'm gonna move on to some more. Yeah, getting a bit hung up on. I can really get hung up on some of these strands. So I'm gonna try and move things along a bit here. But I hope, I don't know, if you're indie, you're thinking of trying to do what I'm doing, look, it's hard as hell, okay? I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to lie to you and say this is easy. But, I don't know. It's food for thought, I guess. If you see a bit of me in you, or you and me, or whatever the order is, then that's something to maybe think about if you're, like, getting hung up over this stuff. Because I wish someone had told me that. Because, you know, I think for a while I had a tough time with, like, oh, what do I do? Like, someone's telling me this, but another person's telling me that. And I think if you figure yourself out, you'll kind of just know. The thing is, I don't know if it'll work. I have no idea. We're gonna find out. That's the fun bit. So yeah, don't take this as like, you should copy this, because remember, I'm not at the end. I haven't finished. I don't know what's gonna happen. This, maybe not doing a publisher, it might be a fatal mistake, completely. It could, but it's like, okay then, if that's what it's gonna be, like, I accept that. I just kind of do my best, and just hope that it, like, works. I know I have, like, probably the most confident thing I will say is I kind of know enough about what not to do. That's probably the thing I'd be more confident in. I don't always know what to do, but I think I have a solid grasp on what not to do. Oh, hey, Infinity. Yeah, you're a little late, buddy. It's okay, the VOD will be around. We were just talking about, like, publishers. Someone was asking me if I wanted to sign with a publisher, and I kind of just gave my thoughts on that. I mean, look, I'm not close to it. I'm just saying I don't want to jump in. I'm not eager to jump into it. But if the right one came and they ticked all the boxes, they could spell, they had games that actually I've heard of, and their marketing strategy makes sense to me, and they actually will explain it to me and have the respect to explain it to me. Like, if they can do all that, hell yeah. But I'm gonna just put a guess out there that most of them won't, because it's like, that's like hard. Like, you would just save money by just emailing someone else, you know, because they have scouts, these guys, don't they? Like, there's a lot of the ones I get that are just like these Chinese mobile game publishers, and I can tell that they email like 100 people every day, and I think they're just fishing, you know, they're just putting their line out and seeing what they catch. And I don't know, yeah, I mean, it's business, so I mean, they kind of have to, but it's like, there's definitely, yeah, there's definitely that thing where this is converse to what I used to believe, where I thought every publisher was just great, which is kind of stupid now that I think about it. But that's what I used to believe. I was like, well, what do you mean if they're a publisher? But, you know, a publisher could also just be some guy who registers an LLC calling himself a publisher, which I've had as well. I've had offers from those guys too. It's just like one person that decides, I'm going to be a publisher, and they don't have any games yet. It's just they have like a Photoshop logo for like some stock thing. Like, this is not, I'm not joking. I actually had this in my email once. It was like some guy that had just registered his company the previous week, because I looked it up. And it was like, I feel like I just felt kind of bad for him. Like, oh man, like you gotta put in more work than that. Like, come on. Like, that might fool a 12-year-old, but it's not gonna fool me, man. Come on. Like, yeah, not kidding. I've seen that. I mean, it's kind of, it's funny. I'm not gonna lie, it's funny though. Those ones are funny. Wasn't the guy who made Vampire Survivors a former slot stuffer? I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard of that game. I think, I think I've got the influence a bit too high. The thing that's throwing me off about these weights, right? To get back on topic for a little, you see how at the corners they kind of do this? It's making me think that I need to blend them up more, because I'm just autopiloting through these, to be real. But yeah, no, I'm going a little overboard, so I gotta just make sure I don't. And then it goes the whole way around too. because I'm looking at like the corners, having it stretch out, and it's like, oh, I need to blend this more, and then it's just the shape of the mesh. It's literally it. So yeah. I don't know about. I'll worry about the insides later. I'll need to sit and think about those. This, ooh, I think I need to taper these edges. These look like they have a bit too much influence on them. Sorry, yeah. Now I'm getting back in the groove, guys. I'm getting back in the groove. Yeah, I'm doing the hair, but we just went on a massive tangent about publishers, and now I'm thinking about publishers now. Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe we do need some weights there. So I'm just trying to know. I'm just trying to rough in weights of where what I think would work, and then we'll try and move these around and see what we get. So I know for this one, I know I don't want all of that stuff at the top. We're gonna get rid of you. I don't want all those we don't want that. Bye bye. Bye bye now. Yeah, I don't want the top of the head completely collapsing her top of her head there, like that bone for the strand. I don't want it doing that. Oh, Necro, you're studying the... Yeah, they are fascinating, aren't they? They are very interesting. What is the most interesting part you found so far? They're smooth. Yeah, they are smooth. Yeah, as in like the topology or the normals? I think you mean the normals, right? Let me get Gabi's face back. It's like that where it's like the face is just flat. You mean like that? Yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, I haven't actually added the nose outline mesh to mine yet. I noticed some of the later ones don't have them, like for, no, Strive I think does, but there was some other, they had worked on some other game, Arc System Works. They didn't develop it, but I think they just were brought on to do the characters, and those ones don't have the nose outline meshes on them. And Gabi doesn't either yet, and I will probably have to get around to that at some point. But I can do that at the end, I think. But yeah, those are interesting though, aren't they? You wouldn't think you'd have to model something like that in. Oh, I got rid of, I just want to get rid of her body. There we go. Ooh. Oh, it's this strand. Okay. Gabi looks scared. Yeah, don't worry. She'll be okay in the end. All right, I'm gonna probably after I do these weights, I'm probably gonna call it because I'm. Whoa, it's 2 p.m. Yeah, no wonder I'm hungry. By the way, while we're here, while I'm chipping away at this. Oh, just wait, stomach. I gotta finish the weights. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so in the background, well, this is kind of... I've actually had to put the model a bit on the background this week. In the foreground, I've been working on file management for videos. Because I desperately need to, because I don't, because I've got more episodes of the devlog I have to make. Going off what we were talking about last week, I've taken some action, stuff is happening. The thing is, I don't want to start producing, like going into the Premiere and like recording. I don't want to do any of that until I've like organized my project files, because they are organized, but they're not organized in a good way. They're not there's a lot of clutter and junk and plaque. And I'm trying to clean all of that stuff out before I go in and make more content. And I'm also trying to, in the last like 3 straight days, I've literally just been researching Premiere workflows and best practices, which I haven't really done up until now, weirdly enough, but better late than never. But I've been looking at it, and it's crazy just how much like info there is. It's a lot of, there is literally an entire book on like managing files, like just managing them, not even editing, not even like doing like sequencing or whatever, or motion, it's just managing files, an entire book, which is a lot. So I'm trying to come up with a better system to organize all my footage, because I have a lot of footage, and I could organize it better, and I want to, because part of the, I think I mentioned last week on stream, part of the reason why the videos sort of were slowing down is there was just a lot of like drama going on that I didn't really want to talk about, which I've processed it now and I want to share it. The other reason is because making those videos is a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time, and I'm getting a bit fatigued on how long they take. Like, it's just exhausting every time I want to make something. It's like it takes like a month to make a video, and I want to streamline it. I want to think, is there a quicker, better way of doing this? And that requires a bit of planning. It requires a bit of research and thought, which is what I've been doing in the foreground. And yeah, so I've been going in and actually looking at my old episodes on how those were managed, because I'm trying to reorganize and reconsolidate footage. And because Premiere, you know, it references media. So if you move media around, Premiere's gonna like lose where it is. So I'm going through each one and I'm telling it like, okay, I've moved this clip here now. This is where to find it. Because if I don't do this like now, it's gonna be more bad. It's gonna be even harder to do later. So it's a lot of grunt work. Not a lot of writing or anything. Not a lot of creative stuff yet, but it's just management. And this is really something I probably I wish I had done like earlier, but I didn't know any better yet. So it's like you live and learn, I guess. Like that's kind of, I could have not known that. And there's a specific feature I'm using in Premiere now called Productions, which I'm hoping to use to better manage all my footage. And that feature just straight up did not exist when I started making videos. So I guess in that regard, I literally could not have done, I couldn't have done better at that time, really. Like the feature I want just didn't exist, but now it exists, which is cool. So I've been working on, I almost want to do a whole stream of doing that, but it's a lot. It's a big topic. But that's what I've been working on in the background, foreground, whatever. Like it's been kind of taking up most of my focus lately. But once it's done, the idea is once I organize it, the next video will hopefully not take as long. If you know what I mean? Like it'll be easier to produce, because I think, in my head, because I know how much work those are, my brain automatically just thinks, oh, we'll just put that off. You know, just procrastinate and work on something easier instead, and then I will do it. And that's how you go 6 months without uploading. So I'm taking steps to have that not happen. But it's going to be a while still. It's still a lot of files to go through. There's terabytes and terabytes of footage. And sure, I don't have to organize it, but it's like I should. You know what I mean? Like, I could leave it as it is, but I'm going to be stressed out if I leave it as it is. And I don't want to be stressed out, because if I'm stressed out, I'm less productive. I'd make less videos because it isn't fun, because you have to manage all this footage. So I don't know if has anyone read the book by Marie Kondo, The Magic of Tidying? I don't know if anyone's read that. Leave me a hand in chat if you've read that book. It's an amazing book. But that's what I've been cooking up, because you basically, she in the book, she talks about how to organize your closet, how to organize your house. And I think you should organize your files the same way, because like, why the hell not? Because a lot of it is very psychological. It kind of changes your entire mood when something is organized right. So it's like, oh, I'll probably be in I would probably like want to make more videos if this was organized better. And already I'm finding like I'm seeing like I'm feeling a lot better about everything. So that's great. When are we getting a KFC stream? Oh, I don't know. Do you want that though? Like really? KFC is not it's not a pretty food. You know what I'm saying? It's a very like lip smacky food. Is that what you want? Are you sure? I don't know. I don't think I could sit through a KFC stream. That's just me. I'm not the viewer, but that's just me. That's just my my game theory though. Well, yeah, it is a mental load. Actually, that's a great point, Pirate. It is precisely a mental load. Now imagine you have 6 months of development progress to cover. You have to talk about like from like June to July, no, January to July. You have a lot of stuff that's happened and you want to tell it, and you want to like, you know, have a beginning, middle, end. You want to tell people what happened. You want to be detailed, but not too detailed. You want to explain some things, but not over-explain things. And then also imagine the mental load of like recalling and remembering all that, knowing how to explain it, how to write it, recording it with good cadence so that it's interesting to listen to. And also the files are a mess. Like it's a lot. I think that was one of the many things that was sort of like that was debuffing me last year, where I allowed the management to get a bit out of hand. So I'm already feeling much better going through it. I barely, like, I've scratched the surface. Like I've organized, I've like kind of done like the first 2 episodes out of 30, but a lot of the work has been research on like how to name files, like what to name files. Because with game assets, they are actually a lot easier for me to manage than footage. But when it comes to things like, you know, a video, a screen capture, or a camera, or a microphone capture, whatever, sometimes, like, because the way I name my game files, right, is that there's a clear subject. Like, Gabi is Gabi. That's a clear subject. A box is a box. A, you know, movement script is a movement script. But in footage, you might have a recording of a few things happening. And it's like, well, what is this? Like, what is the subject of this? What is this showing? And is that even how I should be organizing that? And I'm finding that it sometimes, but not always. It's actually kind of hard to always know. Because I've got like, you know, I'll have like time-lapse footage of a whole day of work, and I work on like 10 things. And it's like, well, I can't call this movement script because I'm working a little on the movement script, but I'm working on 2 other things in this recording. So what the hell do I call it? And I have a little system that I had going, but it is not like, it's not great. So I've been formulating a new one. Because yeah, it's not always easy to just name stuff by like, oh, this is you know, what's the word? It's like, oh, this is like a clear subject matter in this. That's what I try to do most of the time, but it's not always obvious. So instead, I've been researching like, oh, there's some like I came across like this Netflix documentation. This is crazy. I came across this. It was like a whole like page, like a multi-page thing of like how, if you're a Netflix partner, how to name files if you're working on a Netflix show. And I was like, wow, this is so cool that someone like wrote a whole thing about this. That is amazing. Because, you know, sometimes I think I'm the only one that cares about like file management, because every person I've worked with before has just not cared at all, and they leave stuff unnamed all the time, and it would bother me so much. But then I look at like Netflix file name guidelines, and there's like a literal, like, every contingency of every type of footage is accounted for, and I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. Like, there's actual, like, I knew this was important because someone at Netflix thought it was important enough to write all of this about it. So I'm not crazy then. I'm not, you know, I'm not a pedant. Like, this is actually important. Otherwise, why would anyone bother writing all these documents, right? So yeah, because I've been editing, because I edit all my own videos all by myself, there hasn't been as much pressure to like nail that 100% because it only affects me if I get it wrong. But it's affecting me even, and it's like, okay, I'm getting a bit tired of this now. There's gotta be a better system. It has to be. So it's so fascinating though. Like, it's well, that'll probably be part of what ends up in the next video, because I do have a lot of like file management in the game that had to be done, like source control, that kind of stuff. That you know, those who know, you know, if you've ever used like source control, you know what I'm talking about. It's an actual nightmare if you get it wrong. Oh, what? No, wait a minute. I had symmetry on. What's going on here? It's only... Oh, what's going on? There is a button to symmetrize weights, right? I remember... I have a vague memory of that being a thing. I just don't remember right now what it is. There is something I can do that symmetrizes these weights, and I cannot remember it. I don't remember what it is. And it's just for the one bone, not for symmetrized bones. Because I must have accidentally just removed... You know what, maybe I'll just undo. Because I think I must have... let's go back. Let's backtrack a little, see where I went wrong there. Because I swear I had it. You saw, I had that those two were both in red. What happened there? Well... It is symmetrizing these bones, but but these bones are maybe, I don't know, maybe the thing I'm looking for isn't there for these, because these bones are there's only one, so maybe that isn't a thing, because these don't mirror. These, just the ones at the back, they don't mirror. Oh well, let's not, I'll just do it again. It's gonna take me too long to try and remember what the thing is for, if I can even do that for a bone that doesn't have a, you know what I mean. Well, yeah, they were already uneven anyway, so I might as well. But these both need to be... I am a little worried about these corners, of how it's going to handle these. I don't know how it's going to handle it. So I guess we'll find out once I get this in place. This should kind of look yeah, it should look a bit circular like this. Alright. Oh, I just gotta do the back. And I think for the back here, I don't want these to follow too. I want these to stick very close to the head. Hold on. Ooh, what do I want? Oh, I think these will just go 0.5 for those. Oh, it's still not symmetrizing. What's going on? I have X mirror on. What's the deal? Okay, maybe for this bone, it just doesn't do it. That has to be it. That's alright. Because, yeah, some of this is going to get weighted to the head, so I'll leave those empty. Yeah, this is... Okay, let's save. Because, yeah, it's trying to do this thing where it's... Yeah, auto weights are being a little uncooperative. They've tried to do that. They can't. I don't know if Netflix is the best icon to follow. Why not? For file management? I mean, like, as a company, maybe you can disagree with things, but it's like, I don't know. their system, like their workflow is meant to be for like teams of editors to like make stuff, and you might have your qualms about the quality of how well a show is written or whatever, but I don't think you can deny that they're all pretty well produced, like production quality wise, right? Like I don't think I've seen a single Netflix show, I mean I haven't seen a lot, but the ones I have seen, I can't really name one that looked bad, like just production wise. Writing, theme, whatever, like that's different, like that's just, you know, taste. But when it comes to like the quality, I don't know, they all look pretty good. Oh, thanks Infinity. Looking forward to, why do you want a KFC stream? Well, hey, well, how much is I don't know what, I haven't been there in so long, I don't know what whatever the price is for a combo, if I get like that in donations, we'll do it. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. What are we gonna do? It's just gonna be me eating. That's gonna be weird. Because then you guys will have to get food, otherwise it's gonna be weird. Because you guys are just gonna be sitting there watching me eat, and I'd feel bad if you weren't also eating. But that's gonna get costly. You know how expensive fast food is now? That's gonna get costly. I can't do it. I stick to my budget, my pre-made wraps. That's what I'm on now. Every 2-3, I think I make them last 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks, I just buy a bunch of groceries. I just get like wraps, mince, onion, and then I make like 16 of them, and then I freeze them, and then that's what I eat. Wait, yeah, that's the indie dev lifestyle. No, don't give me money for that, please. Don't do it, because then I'm gonna have to do it, and then that's gonna be on the internet forever of me eating chicken. I'm telling you now, don't do it. We're just kidding. We're just kidding, right? We're just joking around, right? We're just having fun, right? We're just joking around. What would be cool is if I had like a budget to create like food, like 3D model food to give to Gabi in game, but that would also be massive feature creep, so maybe not, but that would be cool. No guys, we're not we're not doing a KFC mukbang. No, stop it, we're not doing it. I'm not a mukbang streamer. I have, you know, I'm not, I'm me. I'm just Ken. Okay. And Ken is me. And I'm not gonna eat KFC on stream in front of 100 people. I'm not gonna do it. I'm sorry. Mukbang mini game. I mean, well, now I have to do it, I guess. And if people tell me, it's like, Ray, you're delaying the game so much, why are you adding a KFC mukbang? I have to say, well, chat told me to, guys. I have to do it. It is the will of chat. Chat has willed it, and it shall be. Thy chat's will be done. I have no choice. If they want a mukbang minigame, I have to. If they send me, if someone says one chat message saying I have to do it, I gotta do it. I have to. It's non-negotiable now. Well, man, that should be my negotiating tactic for publishers. That'll be the leverage. It's like, now Ray, we can't ship this with the mukbang minigame. Our focus group is not gonna like it. And I have to say, well, chat told me to, guys, so I'm sorry. Chat said it has to be there, so you're gonna have to ship the game with a mukbang minigame. And if you don't like it, then I will take back my 50% royalties, please. And self-publish my mukbang minigame. That's the negotiating tactic now, guys. That's the. I guess having a chat. I don't know. Would having chat be a good enough? Is that like just instantly shuts down everything? It's just, well, guys, you see, chat said. I don't know. Curious how many other publisher signed devs have a chat that could do that, I wonder. Would that? I don't know. I don't know. Oh my god. Project Feline times K. Well, you know what? Okay. You know what? As funny as that is, what I kind of am not happy about is that that would actually like, that would not be like too out of left field with what I see nowadays with like Fortnite and stuff. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff I see now, it's all like it's brands coming in and saying, hey kids, Fortnite, skibbity KFC, and then the entire game is just a big advertisement now. Now, you know, you gotta get your bread, I get it, but I can't say I am a fan of where things are going. I don't like it. I don't like being advertised to in my game. But, you know, 20 years ago, you know, if someone took that idea, like that would sound kind of crazy, but you do that now, like a Project Feline KFC collab. Like, what's sad is like I see that happen so much with everything that I don't think it would be like that crazy. But if I were to go back to 2004, that would be like, what? Are you serious? But yeah, times do be changing. It's crazy how times do be like that. But I don't know if that's just a me thing, because I'm very like, I don't know, I don't really buy stuff, so I'm not very, like, I'm very old man yells at cloud when it comes to advertising. But I don't know. Am I just, I don't know if I'm crazy. That's just me though. Am I the only one that gets annoyed by that? I have no idea. Surely I'm not the only, but I don't know, maybe I'm particularly sensitive to that. Guys, we must make KFC and Gabi fit. Alright, well hey, maybe if that, maybe KFC will see that and maybe they'll want to reach out to me if someone makes a KFC fan out of Gabi. Who knows? Well, yeah, the in-game billboard stuff, that's where I draw my line too. I think that's kind of cool. Like for games like Tony Hawk and stuff, like the Pro Skater games, it kind of made sense because that was like the culture, you know? Like in real life, like you would see those billboards and it was like part of the artistic vision of the game, because skateboarding, you know, it's a very like branded thing. Like people have stickers on their skateboards, people wear like the DC shirt, like it's part of, it's an authentic part of it, and that's where I kind of don't mind it. But if it's something like, I don't know, like Skyrim, like imagine Skyrim and you walk up to Windhelm and they have a limited time display event or something, I don't know, like they have a limited time plant 1,000 trees or whatever, or some VPN ad in it or something, I don't know, like they have something like that in it, and it's just like, oh, this is like, why? Like I guarantee you there's stuff out there like that. I try not to look, I try to stay away from it so I don't see it all, but I've seen some things like having celebrities in games. Like imagine if Skyrim or maybe a multiplayer game, that's kind of where it's more common, right? Like Roblox, and they have like, I don't know, Nicki Minaj in it or something. Like that would not, like that would be like normal now. Like to me that seems so crazy, but that would actually like be a thing today. Maybe it is. I don't know, maybe that actually is a thing. Actually, let me search up. Is that actually a thing? Nicki Minaj, Roblox. I'm just pulling this out of nowhere. Maybe it is a thing. All right, well, there's custom stuff. That's like fan-made stuff. Oh, wow. Oh, no. Okay, I was almost accurate. There actually was a thing for that for Call of Duty. So not Roblox, but they actually did do this for Call of Duty. Oh my god. This was a real... Oh. See, this is where I don't like this. This is what I don't like. Because what the hell what does she have to do with Call of Duty? Like, that's... To me, it just seems this has nothing to do with it. I don't understand it. That's where I kind of don't... That's where I get... Ew, get it away. But if it's like Tony Hawk's and it's like, we got skateboarder brands, it's like, well, yeah, come on in. But if it's like Nicki Minaj in Call of Duty, it's like... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. That's just me. Oh, see, I thought you guys already had seen this stuff. So yeah, well, yeah, they did it. That's a thing. That's something they did. That's real. But it was a limit. Well, that's the thing as well that I also kind of... Because some guy had to sit there and make Nicki Minaj, and then they didn't even keep it for like, what? Because that would have been like a limited time thing, right? Like that would have been like 2 weeks at most, and then no more Nicki Minaj. And it's like, imagine like putting all that work into making a gorgeous Nicki Minaj 3D model, and then like only people that were around for that time period can ever see it. I don't know. I think it's... I mean, I know they're probably getting paid a lot, but it's just like, I don't know. I just feel kind of bad, you know? Anyway. Hair weights are still... Wait, this is probably going to need more tweaking, but we can try and see what'll happen, because I am getting hungry. So we'll see what happens. When I try and move this. We'll just see what happens. All right, well, this is better, but also not... it's where the hair connects. I'm gonna have to pay close attention. And it looks like it's taking stuff from the other side, which it shouldn't be doing. Maybe I should mirror the bones on this side at this point. That might help the glitchiness. Oh, I mean, it's better. It just needs a bit. It's gonna need a bit, so that might take a bit. But it is better. Oh no, I don't like how that edge is sitting. So I'm gonna have to. All right. Well, now that I can see it, it's like I can kind of get a lay of the land. This is all right, not the sides, but the front is cool. But curving it, that might be tricky. Yeah, I don't like what it's doing to the back. Well, I guess the question we'd have to ask is, do we want to move the bones like that? Like, how far do we want to take this? And I think the way this is curving, yeah, the weights are too strong. It needs to, like, coil. It needs to compress. But it's like, yeah, okay. So I've gone a little too heavy on the weights on the back. I can understand that. There's too much hold. It's like hair gel. It's too much hold. So we gotta loosen, these have to get loosened a bit. But see, yeah, as I do it, I learn. All right. Well, we're getting somewhere with it. This is still way easier than the Gabi's old hair by a long shot. Like, oh my god. So, yeah, that might need another day or two. Maybe a day. Yeah, I could probably... Maybe a day. Assuming nothing else breaks. And then I gotta do the ear. The ear's gonna be a bit trickier. I'm gonna need to... That's gonna need to get remade. The topology's all wrong. So... But hey, we got some hair strands going. So the idea is, once this is like final, I'm going to be animating these strands into, you know, cool poses and stuff. Weirdly enough, I know this sounds maybe not obvious, but this will actually also come in handy for like static poses, not just animating. Because I noticed that, you know, when you know, like Mickey Mouse, or no, Goku is a better example. You know how Goku, when you have his hair, it looks the same from every angle? So if I have Gabi's hair rigged and weight painted, I can actually make it have that kind of weird thing that happens, where if I don't like how the hair looks from a certain angle, I can bring bones around to the other side and move the hair to look right from only that angle, which will not work in game. But for thumbnails, for Steam, for branding, for like, you know, having still images, like YouTube thumbnails and whatever, like that will be a huge help. Because a lot of the trickery of why it would look 3D, I've done so much work on everything, but the bit where it will probably fall apart is the hair if I don't do it right. Because the hair will look too stiff and perfect. So if I can get the hair bones the right way, and I can get these weights sorted out, then I can move the hair to do unnatural poses that you're not meant to do in real life, but from that angle will look good, which is what anime, when you're drawing, that's what you do. So one thing that we can't do yet, but I want to be able to do is, you know what, I need to find a picture to illustrate this. I'll show you what I want to be able to do once this is done. Oh, I think it's episode 38, I think. So for this, so here's actually a great example between the unedited 3D model and like touching up in Photoshop before I'd finished the rig. I know it's a bit hard to see zoomed in. Can I hide my face cam so it's easier to see? Oh, nope, that's not it. There we go. So look at her face, like look at her haircut, right? So here, you can kind of tell it's a little too perfect, it's a little too 3D, but here I've drawn it. And you see how there's all this volume at the back, like this, that isn't there as on the 3D. Like, it's there a little bit actually, but it isn't like that, where you have a clear silhouette. So when I get the weight paints, I can like take the hair from behind and I can like spread it out like in front like this. So from any angle it'll look really weird, but if you look at it from this angle, from the front, it'll look like the drawing. So this drawing is a hybrid of the model and me going in Photoshop and like drawing over bits. So this is kind of how good I thought I could get it a few weeks ago. But now that the face is done and the face rig is done, and like what I can see happening is that I won't even have to do this touch-up stage. Because that took a bit, that took like an hour. But if I can get the rig, that's why I've got a facial rig in the first place, is that I can just do this without having to draw over at all, and I can just skip that step. So that's the idea. And that it's gonna be the hair and ear are the only thing right now kind of holding it back from being that good. Because yeah, if I can save more time not having to redraw that over and over, that'd be great. So it all comes down to just being able to pose it. That's kind of, it isn't even about like animating, it's posing as well, which for anime characters is particularly important. Because it's not just about whether you can move the character, it's like, can you pose it, like can you make the pose cool? Because if you can't, it won't look like an anime character. It'll just look like something trying to be an anime character. Because, I mean, you guys, there's so many iconic anime poses, right? Like, you guys know them. You know the Goku poses, the Kill la Kill type poses. Like, anime, I think, is one of those things where having a cool pose is, like, necessary. Like, that's part of the style, is having these bombastic, unrealistic poses. And, you know, having hair physics that doesn't make sense. That kind of stuff. So hopefully I can get it to that, but I really need to eat. So I'm going to stop it there today, but I'll keep working on this and I'll keep trying to do my footage stuff and organize that. So yeah, more content is on the way. It's cooking up. It's cooking, but I'm doing a lot of file management stuff. So I don't know, maybe if you guys are interested, I might maybe do a stream of some of that. It's very repetitive like stuff, but it's important work. I think a lot of people, I don't see enough people talk about it. It's file management, so important. So I'm going to be working on that and trying to get the hair done. And then by next week, who knows? We actually might be ready to animate if nothing goes wrong, which I really hope nothing goes wrong. I really hope, but you never know. So we'll find out. Do I have a solution for normals deforming? No. Maybe someone knows one. If someone has read the documents and they know how Arc System Works does it, I'm open. But I haven't found it. What I have noticed is that when I open Arc System Works models in Blender and move them, the normals also act weird there too. So the way I figure is, well, if their normals kind of act up when they deform, and this is their character models, then maybe that's just what I have to accept. Like maybe, well, if that's what they have, then, well, I guess I'll have it as well. But I don't know. I do know that in-game, they do a lot of trickery to mitigate. So maybe, this is just my understanding of reading stuff. I think what happens is they have that problem where when they deform the mesh, the normals go kind of weird. But then what they do is they change the light vector on the shader every frame so that the light is never off. And that's something I can't do in my case, because it's a 3D game. But in their fighting game, where there's a fixed camera angle and a fixed light, they can do it where every single keyframe, and I mean every keyframe, they have a little light vector that controls where the shadows come from. And I think what they do is they just adjust it just so that it looks the least off in every keyframe. and the light, you know, it depends on everything being perfect. It depends on the light being at the exact right spot, and it relies on a lot of things that I just cannot do. So if that ends up being a thing, then all right, so be it. Maybe it will look kind of weird. You know, to be fair though, I have that problem already with Gabi's current model, and no one has noticed. Because yeah, the normals will deform, but to be fair, I didn't put as much work into the normals as the old one. So maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see. Because the main problem now is the symmetry, is that when I use the symmetry modifier, the normals don't copy. And that's probably, I can do that at the end, I think. That's my game theory anyway. So I haven't worried about that yet. But when I import it in engine, and she starts moving, I mean, who knows, maybe it will be kind of off, but I think in game we might actually, because you know what, we actually might be able to get away with that, because in Arc System Works they get away with it by adjusting the light vector, but I can get away with it because you're facing the back most of the time, so it might not even be worth, like, the normals might be a little glitchy on the face in game, but if you're always looking, if you're not looking at her from the front that much and her face is small on screen, I might not have to do anything. Like, it might be that people might not even realize. The only time where it becomes a problem is doing pre-rendered poses for the other stuff I want to use this for. And I think in that case, if I can't come up with a solution, Photoshop. But that's the best compromise I can think of right now. There actually might be. One thing I did try was using a data transfer modifier on top of the mesh after the armature modifier, so that it would override the normals with a proxy mesh on top of doing the armature. But if you rotate the head up, it breaks. Like, it won't work. It'll keep it all kind of like you move the face and cheeks around and the lighting is good. But if you move any part of the body, then the light is gonna not look, I guess to put it in, to give you an idea, if I like move Gabi's face like that, the light is gonna, like, her face is gonna act like it's being lit from the front, because the normals are literally being told to not change. So that might not work. And even that's just in Blender. I don't know if even that'll work in Unreal even. So I don't know. But I think if it's a little glitchy on the face in game, I think I could live with that. I think that'll be, like, given the type of game I'm doing, I just might have to accept that as a limit. So, maybe. But there might be a way. Who knows? Maybe there's something. Oh, Goomba says, I saw a solution in Blender with normal data transfer on the OG model. Yeah, I think that's what I was talking about. Data transfer. I think it's also called normal transfer. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that'll work. So, I mean, I guess evidently, maybe they didn't get it work. Like, if they had to go in, if Arc System Works had to go in and change the light vector every keyframe, maybe they didn't get it working either, and that's why they had to do that. So, that could be a possibility. Or maybe they did get it working, but they're not telling anyone. Because if it were me, that's what I would do. You know, sometimes you gotta keep that's like the secret sauce. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they do know. They just have deliberately not said how. And well, I can't really do much about that, can I? Anyway, I'm gonna go eat. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks again. I'll say it every time. Thanks so much for being so patient with content, like main channel, like. Well, I only have one channel, but, you know, main content, devlog stuff. Thanks for being patient with it. I am, like, as I've said, I am working towards making a better system for that, because I want to make more and I want them to be easier, and I'm working on that. It'll take a bit, but progress is happening. So I'm just glad you're all still with me, sticking around for it. And I hope to make some more videos this year. So until then, I'll see you guys next week with what happens to this. Hopefully animating. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. But I'll see you next time.